Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And yes, I mixed them up again. Wherever you are in the world, apply the appropriate greeting and welcome. Thank you very much for coming along. If you're here live or listening on any of the podcast platforms, I don't have the list open this week, so I'm not going to read them off. Or watching on YouTube, we appreciate you for doing so. As per usual, the song we came into was from part of the plan. You can do, if you're here live in my chat, I will do the chat commands real quick. It's !Cody and !POTP. A little bit of information there and a couple of links, as well as a link to a clip where we had Wraithbound, the lead singer, Cody, on the podcast episode 4, and we basically got his and the band's point of view on people who maybe want to use their music for, you know, streams or like a montage or whatever. They says have long and short of it, they say have at it. They don't mind. They love seeing what people come up with in the way of, you know, non-live content, but then also if people just want to chill and listen to it whilst they're streaming in a live format, they're completely fine with that as well. So as you can see, the group there on the screen, I always get this particular music video up just because it's got a great picture of all 5 of the guys. And then we've got the song we actually came into was Shelter, as you heard a little bit just then. But this week, joining myself and my usual co-host of Enraged Kitsune is our good friend that we met through chaps, ScottThaDude. You want to say hello, Kit and Scott?
Hello.
Another week, another episode.
Yeah.
This is
What are we
gonna
on
be a good
now?
one this week.
26?
26.
Holy shit.
Why
Do you know?
why did you sound so unsure of that? It's in the title.
I have to. Just dramatic effect, you know. Oh, no. I knew it was 26, but at the same time, like, there have been a few times, you know, one that comes to mind is the one that you ended up surprising me with, like, the host spotlight.
Okay, yeah.
Where I thought, oh shit, we're going to miss an episode. But
This isn't one of those weeks, so.
Yeah. So, as we usually like to say, obviously welcome to you, Scott, but one of the things we want to try and do with this podcast is sort of connect the communities that we ourselves are a part of. So, you know, we had Solidus Leon a couple weeks back. Well, actually, what? How many weeks ago was that, Kit? Like 10?
I can look if you want the actual figure. It'll take me a minute.
Have a quick look, and I'll finish what my train of thought was. And like, I know he, for instance, listens to the podcasts on like Spotify, which is why I was getting on at Kit in the last episode about, yo, we need to work out how we're gonna get these up, because every time I go into Lee's chat, he's like, dude, tell Kit, get these fuckers up. I want to listen to them. Go on.
It was episode 9.
What?
Yeah.
That's a while back, man.
17.
Yeah, a while back. But anyway, so like, there might be people like Lee who have been on, who listen to him, who hear someone who knows Scott, who might be the person, or any one of the other 23. I want to 24. Yeah, no, 23, because you would be 24. We've only had 2 episodes where there wasn't a guest. No, we had Otis as a double guest, so yeah, 23 guests. 22. I don't know. Maths
20-ish, 20-odd guests.
Yeah.
20-odd guests.
That he is sort of, you know, listened to the podcast, vibed with you a little, and then maybe reaches out with a DM on Twitter and goes, yo, let's duo stream sometime playing Destiny or whatever other game that you both end up enjoying. Do you know what I mean? So that's obviously one thing, but then also anybody that just plain up listens to it and vibes with you, come chill with you in your chat, and you got somebody else to, chill and chat with. Like, I met you through Chaps, seeing you in Chaps's chat, talking to you in chat, not only Chaps's chat but also Grandad's chat periodically as well. Like, I got to see you from your interactions on there as like very down to earth and sort of a person I could vibe with. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have to like go in your stream and get to know you in that way. But then as soon as like I found out from Chaps, like I think it was Chaps giving you a shout out that you streamed, I was just like, yep, I'm hitting the follow button on that, dude.
He doesn't shout me out nearly as often as I would like, but yeah, it happens every so often. I usually wait like they get a big host and I'll be like, hey Chaps, you know who else streams?
Okay then, so that moves me nicely on to who are you, what do you do on Destiny, Twitch in general, what made you start streaming, how long you been gaming, those sort of, just give a little bit of an intro into you.
Okay. Well, hi, thanks for having me on, guys. Excited to be here. So my name's ScottThaDude. An old Scottish Destiny streamer. And I like to say that I'm really bad at Destiny. Because I don't want people turning up to my channel and thinking they're going to get to see like top quality gameplay, because that's sort of not what we're about there. Really, the channel's just a place where I want people to feel welcome, feel like they can hang out, during these times where you can't really get going to the pub to hang out with your mates, like, come to Twitch and hang out with us and we'll have a laugh kind of thing. So it's kind of, within the realms of reality, within the realms of, not being an asshole to people, we like to have a laugh, we like to have fun, usually at my expense. It's usually, usually either me poking fun at myself or other people poking fun at me, or, me miming inappropriate things with doodle sacks and whatnot on the internet. So all that stuff is just,
weren't you the one that started the whole MCA thing in Chaps's chat or something? Something along those lines.
Yeah, the middle class alert. Yeah, that was me. That was. Like I said to you when I was messaging you the other day, man, that boy would be nothing without me. I give him 90% of his content, and it's in that chat. But no, so like in terms of why I started streaming, so I've been a viewer on Twitch and like a part of lots and lots of different communities for like probably 4, almost 5 years now. So I started off kind of looking at Destiny streams to try and learn how to do Wrath of the Machine. So guys like Jay Sniperton were the first people that I sort of discovered as streamers. Jay sort of to this day is like, one of my real kind of role models in terms of, the community that he's built and the type of guy that he is and the type of content that he makes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I used to watch him years ago. Yeah, I think it was like pretty much just before he got partnered.
Yeah.
When all of the guys were on Twitch, Gafalia and Probro, Jay. Obviously you got Glad and them now, but all of those guys were like the top dogs that you would see on all the time, and I was actually part. This is the thing, I've always put it in a sense of I don't want to say this person's name, but fuck it, I'm going to say it because it kind of links to how I found Grandad, which is how I found Chaps, which is how I found you and, a bunch of other people. But I was actually part of, last year when the whole shit went down with all of the Destiny streamers that got caught out with like sexual harassment and all this, that, and the other. I used to actually be part of Lono, or Say No to Rage's community.
Yeah, man, I was there. I did a 3-year sub when that and on Say No to Rage when that all happened, man. I was part of that community as well.
And I don't know about you then, but I personally, when I heard it, I felt lied to, because the simple fact of he always tried to make out in his chat that it was just, pro bro and them sort of bullying him and ganging up on him and getting jealous because he was getting the success that he was getting, when in actuality, they had a reason to. Whether there are videos and stuff of independent people doing investigations and trying to find out information from both parties, and only Lonos gave his side. So I will say this: whether it was true or not, he didn't come out and that was my main issue. He didn't come out and turn around and go, okay, they're bullying me because they believe I've done something I haven't done. He left it for 2 years. That was my
biggest issue with it. Yeah.
He left it for 2 years. Then it came out, and then he was like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? So, but I found Anubis because of him. He raided Anubis, and literally it was like a week before that whole thing kicked off. So it was quite a good timing, like for me, because it then led to me finding OBK Cat. Which led me to and because I was in Anubis's chat quite a bit, led me to finding Fiend, which found me Kit. Also because of Anubis being raided by Glad, I got to know Otis, and now me and Kit are both in the same clan as Otis. Like, do you know what I mean? And so
it feels to me like, the Destiny directory on Twitch now feels like a much more, a much more balanced place than it did back then for kind of small to middle-sized content creators. Like, as I say, I was part of Luno's community as well. Like, when I first started teaming with people in Destiny 1, like doing my first raids, doing my first nightfalls and stuff like that, it was Rageless people that I was playing with. I was in his clan on Xbox. I played with I'd made a lot of really good friends there. I ended up being in a clan with a sort of separate clan with a lot of guys that I met there. That's where Project and I first met, and that sort of spin-off clan. So, I made a lot of good friends there that I'm still friends with now. But like you, I sort of felt like my main issue with all that was.
It's funny because I thought
was the dishonesty.
When I first saw Project's name, I think it was in Chaps' chat. I actually thought, holy shit, I recognise that name. And so now hearing that you two were both part of Loner's community, I was like, well, all right, maybe I might have recognised you from there, because I was one of the people that like back in D1, King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine especially. And then obviously when Age of Triumph happened, we had the rejuvenation of the older 2 raids as well. Like,
the old raids, yeah.
I was one of the people that, like, he had on his list of, all right, if I see you on, I'm gonna message you if I need, an extra person as a Sherpa sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just because I think the first time I played a raid with him was Kingsfall, and at one point there was like everybody died except the 2 people he had as his like quote unquote mini Sherpas. Then obviously him Sherpering and me. I was still alive, and then one of his like so-called Sherpas died, and I was still alive, and they were like, and I was on my Hunter as well. And they were on Titans and Warlocks, and they were like, how in the are you tanking all this damage? Just like, I don't know, I'm just playing the game, But yeah, like, that was one of the things that, and I think that's part of what drew me especially to like the Just Wipe It guys as well, is like with Otis and them, is they want to do raid helps, they want to do GM helps, the stuff you see Grandad and Chaps doing. They want to do that sort of stuff. So I've always been into that kind of thing. My clan that me and Kit were both part of just before I came to PC was an Xbox Sherpa clan, Legion of Forsaken. Awesome group.
Okay, cool.
Awesome group of guys. I didn't want to leave, but they were Xbox only, and we didn't know when. We knew crossplay was planned, but we didn't know when. And obviously now we know it's next season. But I've already, been on PC for so long, and all that.
Yeah. But I think crossplay is going to be awesome. I've got a lot of mates that I left behind on PlayStation last year that I really want to play with again.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm really looking forward to.
One of the things I've turned around and said, like when, I think I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it was Notos and Nagurski who were in Just Wipe It. I turned around to him and said, like, when crossplay comes, I am on PC. The guys I used to play with on Xbox, like all the Sherpa team in that clan, do you really think they're going to turn around and say to people that could potentially be ran through a raid by me, don't go and do a raid with Trep? He's not good, because they're the ones that fucking trained me to do them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. Nah, it's awesome. Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that I played with back on PlayStation that I did, like, we had, like, so my Tuesday night stream comes from, I used to run, so it's one of those things, like, so I'm, as I say, an older guy. I've been married for a very long time, and it got to the point where, like, when my PlayStation was set up in the living room, like, I'd just be, like, waiting, like, side-eyeing my wife, like, waiting for her to fall asleep, right? And, like, waiting for her. She fell asleep yet, and then as soon as I thought, right, she's sleeping, I'd get up and I'd grab the controller, turn on the PlayStation, have a few games, kind of thing. So she kind of started to really notice that, and she was like, "Look, it just feels like every night you're just sort of staring at me, waiting for me to fall asleep." And I was like, "Well, what about then? I do like, I have an organized night where, like, I go away and I play and that's it, and then I don't need to do that kind of thing." And she's like, "Right, okay."
I kind of had that.
So that's how my Tuesday night gaming slot came about. So I've always played on a Tuesday night for about the last 3 or 4 years. Sort of Tuesday night has been my gaming night, so it sort of turned into my midweek stream night now. Now that since I started streaming, so back then we used to run like a regular raid on a Tuesday night. Me and Nada lives, who you'll have seen in my chat, and a few other guys from our old clan, and Project as well. Actually, back when it used to be Notorious Ned on the PlayStation, we ran Leviathans and Eater of Worlds and Spire of Stars and all those early raids. We ran those every week on a Tuesday night. So, like, crossplay coming back, the ability to kind of reconnect with some of those guys that I've not spoken to or played with for a long time is going to be awesome.
That's a similar sort of story to some of the guys in Just Wipe It as well. Like, you'll see, you tune into, like, my stream, Otis's Dune Marches, you'll see, like, me, Dune, 5, Sassy Jimberly, Bionic, a bunch of us that are on PC playing together, and it's like Otis and them know, like, I think it's like 50% of their clan is still on PlayStation. So, they are looking forward to crossplay because certain members of the clan that want to play, can't right now because they've not got. Same with Lee. Like, Lee's got members of his clan that are still on console as well, and they want his help to do activities, but he can't help them. And obviously now, when crossplay becomes a thing, he will be able to.
Yeah,
but
I think especially for those guys that do, like, that are sort of, quote unquote service streams, people that do helps and stuff like that. It's going to be such a huge boon for anyone like Chaps and Grandad and those kind of people like yourself and that do helps on stream, because it's just opening you up to such a much broader audience. That's not the kind of stuff that I do on stream. Like, I've always sort of shied away from
I want to do more
from being a help stream.
But
I think
I personally don't like the whole what's the words I'm looking for? like the ideas behind what people consider a service streamer, because a lot of them there'll be a bunch of people that will look at Chaps and Grandad and go, oh look, they do GM helps and raid helps. Oh well, you know, once they get tired of doing that, the viewership will drop off or whatever. Yeah, and it's like the way I look at it is like, well, if it happens, it happens. But at the same time, they don't do it because, you know, they want the viewership to be there. They do it because they enjoy helping people, and you can tell that just by spending like 2-3 hours in their streams. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think they
get through a bunch of people. It's not because they want people to be there. Obviously, that's a bonus because it means they can help more people. But it is just that they like helping people. Yeah.
I think you definitely need to have that. You definitely need to have that attitude of I enjoy helping people. I think as well, for you to be successful and that kind of thing, you need to be a reasonably good player, which, as I say, I don't think I quite fit that mark. And also, I think, you know, there needs to be something other than that about your streams, right? You can't just be, you know, spouting like where your only chat is just like you know, stand on left and try not to die, kind of like Sherpa and raid encounters. Like, there needs to be something else, and that's why like ever since I sort of discovered Chaps, you know, I've kind of been there like every day. Like, I just really rate the guy's streams. I think his content's excellent, his attitude's excellent, his community's excellent.
Yeah.
Just a fun place to be.
There's one thing I wish I'd said to him when we had him on here was like his raid thing, the what the fuck is going on? Like, that is so entertaining. It's unfucking real. And it's literally like 5 seconds.
Aye. And you know what? The guy, and this is, I think, something that a lot of small streamers need to be really aware of. Yeah. Is that we all grow together, right? So, like, what you're trying to do with this podcast in terms of linking communities together, we all grow together. So, Chaps will do that. Welcome in our raid.
That's my motto that I've sort of passed along to the podcast, and that's why I was so happy to get Kit to come on and help me with it, because I know he's got the same sort of mindset. Is you know, the age-old saying in the UK, rising tides raise all ships.
Exactly, man.
That is the mantra that I live by, which is why we got the rising lights from that, because we are all rising up together, but then obviously lights sort of
the guardians. Yeah,
we're lights in the dark, but then also it relates to Destiny, which part of the podcast is about. Sure. So,
as I say, if you watch Chaps long enough, you'll notice that, like, that raid thing that he does, he'll do that if you raid his channel with 1 viewer, or he'll do that if you raid his channel with 400 viewers. Every person that comes into that stream's made to feel welcome, and every person who comes into that stream that he knows as a streamer gets a shout out. He knows their channel, he knows their content, you know. So is that, and that's definitely like that is definitely something that I try to carry out, that I try to carry through to my own streams. You know, if I've got 2 full pages on my stream deck, I've just shortcuts to give people shout outs, people that I know hang out in my chat, just because that's what I want to be about. I know that streaming's never going to be my full-time career. You know, I've got quite a good job. I'd need to get to about the size of Glad to really start thinking about it, and that's just not going to happen, right? So, like,
you never know.
Yeah, well, you never know. But it's always going to be, you know, it's always going to be a passion project for me. I would never call it a hobby, but it's you know, it's always going to be a passion project for me. So, you know, it's never going to be something I'm going to do full time. So the way I see it is that you know, I'm not in competition with anyone. So if I'm not streaming and I'm not working, then I'm trying to spend time in as many channels as I possibly can, so that if someone comes into my channel, I can say something substantial about them. You know, so you know,
here's the thing.
give them a decent shout out. Give people a reason to go and follow them.
what you just said there about I'm not in competition with everyone. I kind of like I get where you're coming from, and I'm sort of in the same mindset as you of I just do this because I enjoy it. But obviously, if something came of it to where I am able to pay the bills and stuff,
Yeah, for sure, man. If Mr. Beast pops into your channel and donates you $100,000, you're not going to fucking, you're not going to refund him.
So here's where I was going with that. Yeah, it's a plus. It's a plus for me because for me that'll be because at the moment I don't work. Right, I'm when I'm COVID vaccinated, I'm going to look for a part-time job so I can do, both the job and this as well as have time for my kids. So it's like because I've had full-time jobs where I hadn't had time to stream, and it took a hit. I haven't streamed like a whole year or something, or I might have streamed 1 week out of that year, sort of thing. And I don't want that. I want to be able to continue to build it alongside, earning money that I need to earn to, pay for things for my kids or pay for things for the stream, whatever it may be. But the way I look at it is if it goes to where if it grows to a point where I can say it's my livelihood, it's a plus side because I'll be at home 24/7 for my kids. My fiance needs my help. She could turn around and say, "Hey, come down. I need your help," and boom, I'm there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just turn around to the stream and I say, "Listen, gotta go and help my fiance with my kids for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. I'll be back," and I'm gone.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But at the moment, like you said, it's a passion project. It's more just do it for the fact that you love it.
Yeah, man. I enjoy doing it. It's so I guess like the reason I sort of started streaming. So I did way back in D1. Like I did a couple of streams just on the Xbox or on the PlayStation just to get remember the streamer emblem. Remember you got a special emblem for streaming like a certain number of hours. So I did that, but I'd never put any. It was just to get that emblem, and that was kind of it. So then last year. So I know Chaps sort of talked about this whenever he was on. So that day he got affiliate and Jay Sniper and raided him. I was on that raid, and just was like, this place is going to be awesome. This could be a new Twitch home for me. So I subbed straight there and then. Like I still have my founder's badge in his chat to this day. And as I say, I've sort of been there every day since. And it really was, it was sort of a combination of, watching Jay for all those years, watching guys like Leopard, who I think is like in terms of content and stuff like that is kind of what I would aspire to be. Watching guys like Chaps, meeting guys like Grandad and all that kind of thing. It's those guys that really sort of inspired me to start myself. So last year when COVID hit and we were all starting working from home, so one of my other things that I'm really passionate about, and I don't know if you've ever been in stream when I've been doing it, but I also I build gaming PCs. I do custom PC builds for people. So, but I didn't have one myself. So I built one for my son for his Christmas the previous year, and that was kind of the first one that I did for a long time, and that sort of gave me the bug to do that again. So I was like, I'm going to. This is obviously before the PC parts market went insane. So I did it myself.
Kit, I have like zero knowledge on fucking parts, to be honest.
Aye. So as I say, so like I put one together for myself, and then I was like, well, do you know what? I've got the kit now. I could just start streaming. And as I say, it was really kind of Chaps like him and I are quite similar in terms of like our humour and our way with people and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? If that guy can do it and be successful doing it, then I'm going to give it a bash. So because of that bit of like sort of being part of a lot of communities. Like, so I was part of Jay's Turtle Squad, I was part of Chaps' community, I'd been there for a while, it made me a mod, all that kind of stuff. And having so many kind of friends all across Twitch,
Yeah.
Because as I say, I've been there a part of lots of the different communities, like Jamesworks communities and all of those, like going way back. I got affiliated really quick, like after.
Yeah, Project
like,
said. Project just said in chat 48 hours or something daft.
it was. I think it was after. Like, what is it? You need to stream for 25 hours, 50 followers, and 3 average viewers. So I think as soon as I had 25 hours streamed, the next day, the next day, I got my email saying I was affiliated. So it was that quick. It was like in 5 streams or something like that. And then it's just kind of cracked on from there for me, really. Like, you know, I've tried to develop. I think I've gotten, you know, I watch old VODs. I've still got a couple of old VODs saved on my PC, and I think I've gotten better at it. So that's me coming up on a year now since I got affiliated. So the end of this month, the 29th of July is my affiliate anniversary. We're going to do some daft stuff on stream
Nice.
for celebrate that. So
See, I've done in the past like story Sundays, right? And going back to what you were saying about differentiating some parts of your content with regards to the service stuff. And I sort of like gave up on it, if you will. After I did on Remembrance Sunday last year, I did World War II Call of Duty game, and I sort of kind of gave up on it from that point on, and just, you know, did my usual playing Destiny or Ark, I think at the time, at that point. And then I'm like, this year I saw, you know, through meeting you from Chaps, I saw you doing like your Scary Sunday where you did the alien isolation. I was just like,
Jesus out of me that game.
I was just like, fuck it. Do you know what? I'm bringing back storybook fucking story game Sundays. And so like last week and the week before I finished Fallen Order, Star Wars Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order. That's a great game, man. I love that game.
I actually finished it last week, and I thought exactly what you just said. That's a great game. I may even do a new game plus just because it is that good.
Right.
But yeah, I can sense that Kit kind of wants to turn around and go, "All right, Trep, Scott, enough talking. Move on to the topics, will you?"
There've been a couple of occasions where I wanted to chime in and be like, "Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point," and then like you talk past it, like, "Okay, can't really do that now."
That's what you get when you get two gap shakes in the same place.
So let's get on to the...
Yes, the first one we've got on this list, watch parties.
Yep.
Quite a lot you find us saying, you know, the experience on mobile isn't really the same as you get on desktop Twitch. This feature in particular isn't one that we really were talking about with that, but it's happening. So in an effort to bring the mobile apps sort of a bit more in line with desktop, they're bringing watch parties across to the Android and iOS apps.
Anyone use watch parties? I don't think I've never used it.
I don't. I can use it because I've got Prime.
Yeah, me too.
I just haven't used it.
It's one of the things I'm sort of considering for my affiliate anniversary. So, you know, like all my stuff's sort of, you know, emotes and stuff like that. It's all sort of Big Lebowski themed. So I thought, like, it'd be nice to do a watch party and watch Big Lebowski with the community, but it's not fucking on Prime anyway. So
this is the thing as well. Like, half of the stuff I look at, like, so I used to be big into Top Gear, right? I'm a mechanic by trade. Like, cars are my thing. But then I sort of fell out of love with Top Gear when the three guys, you know, James May,
when there was a change in cast.
Yeah. So when obviously I saw that Amazon was doing the Grand Tour,
their thing.
Grand Tour,
I was like, oh yeah, I'll go and check that out because it's probably going to be similar sort of thing. And then I found out it was more entertainment than, you know, the facts about the cars and stuff. And whilst, yes, cars were involved, it wasn't, oh, here's a new Volkswagen fucking Golf it does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that sort of thing mixed in with the entertainment that they had with regards to Top Gear, because they actually had to prove to the American government once, you know, to go over and
that's right.
and film.
We're not making a car program; it's an entertainment program.
Yeah, because their media like visa thing for traveling said like a factual show, essentially documentary, right?
That's true.
And the American authorities looked at it as more of an entertainment show. They had to prove that it was more like factual and stuff. So they tried to stay away from the entertainment things, but still did some crazy shit. It was the same. I think it was the same series.
Those guys without it.
Yeah, I think it was the same few episodes where Richard Hammond actually bought a Dodge because Dodge refused to send them a test copy, because every time they had a Dodge on the Top Gear show, they'd said something bad about it.
Yeah. Is that not the one? Is that not the one where they're in the diner and Hammond's like sitting close to his car?
Yeah.
And Clarkson gets in it and drives it away because of the keyless entry system was rubbish, like in his car. And then just left it in the middle of the road. I remember that one. That was good. I don't mind Top Gear now with Paddy McGuinness and them, you know, though. I think it's alright now. But there we are.
Alright, but there's the thing I was getting to with that is, like, that's probably so I looked at Prime Video and I'm like, what else could I watch? Like, if I was to do some sort of watch party, what else could I watch? And there's not a lot on there that sort of really interests me, and I don't want to. It's all right me turning around and saying to the community, all right, we're going to do a watch party. We're going to watch, I don't know, Grand Tour, and then let's say I wasn't into cars and I wasn't into that show. Do you know what I mean? If I'm not enjoying it myself, there's no point in me putting it on. Do you know what I mean?
The problem with watch parties is not only finding something that you'll enjoy, but something that, like,
the community will
relates to your community, and there are very few shows that do that anyway. Even fewer if you just look on what's on Prime.
Yeah, it's like if you're looking for something that's got broad appeal, like that's why the only thing I would really consider doing is Lebowski, because it's sort of the theme of my stream, you know what I mean? But like, there's not really much else I would use watch parties for. You know, unless it was something that was like community voted or something like that.
I would watch something like if Disney Plus was allowed on there, for instance, I would probably watch the new like TV shows they've got coming with the MCU. So WandaVision, Winter Soldier, and Captain America.
Loki,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even. And then Loki. I'd also watch like The Bad Batch because I really enjoy that. Mandalorian.
Bad Batch has been good. I think I'm a couple behind on Bad Batch, but it's been good.
Yeah, it is. So like just things that like that have broad appeal. Yeah, most people, my fiance unfortunately isn't one of them, enjoy Star Wars, right? So most people, you say, oh, we're gonna be watching Bad Batch today. We'll be like, yo, that's cool. Let's go. Do you know what I mean? Same with like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Most people have one or more of the characters that they really enjoy watching the films of, and like, so you might enjoy watching Iron Man. You won't watch the 4 films, but you'll watch the Iron Man films, and then you'll watch the Avenger films because Iron Man's in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then obviously you get the people that want the entire story, that go, all right, I'm going to watch all of the films. And then you get the ones that know the story from like comic books and stuff, who want to see how faithful to the comic books the movie adaptations and live action shows have been. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Disney Plus, I think, does have a watch party feature, but you just can't stream it. But
but I think the more they bring from desktop to the Android app, the better.
I'm a big user of the Android app, like because I'm not always, watching when I'm sat at my PC. Usually, if I'm watching in the evening, I'm on my phone. making dinner or whatever. So yeah, the better the Android app gets.
Well, it's like right now, if I yeah, I'll do it in the chat, right? SPC is my streaming PC, right? That struggles if I'm streaming and have more than 1 or 2 streams open, right?
Right.
So typically, I will just pick one person, like Pigeon when he's got like below 75 viewers. I will bring him up on my phone, right? While I'm streaming, I'll have him up on my phone because then it registers as a tab up, and then and then periodically I'm checking. If he goes above 75, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick one of my friends that are lower down the list. Like, it's nothing against him. I want to support him. I want to help him get his partner push done. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if I see Pigeon on 78 viewers, and I don't know, Scott, you're live, and I see you on 3, I would rather have my phone open and have you on there, so I add you an extra, extra viewer there,
an extra face.
Yeah, rather than, yes, I'm helping Pidge, but at the same time, it's not as. I'm a drop in the ocean. Do you know what I mean? I'm one person out of 78 people. So I very much appreciate Pidge, and I've played but back when he first got into Apex a bit, like off stream, I was one of the people that he played with and would constantly message and say, "Yo, I wanna play some Apex. Are you down?" You know what I mean? So
yeah, Pidge is a good dude.
But that's the way I look at it. Is like I will use the Android app mainly for that.
I'm finding myself using the Android app, using the app on my phone a lot more. Just I take an hour lunch, so I'll just hop on Twitch and see what's going on.
And there's my gaming PC, by the way, which is what I've got the topics and stuff up open on right now, just so because it always bugs me whenever I put one of the commands in and don't put the other one in. So for anybody who is listening or watching on YouTube, you won't see these, but basically my streaming PC is an Intel Pentium G870, which is 3.1 gigahertz. It's only a duo core, right? I have 8 gig of RAM and a GeForce GT 710 2 gig GPU. My gaming PC is an i5 3570K, which is 3.4. It's a quad core. 16 gig of RAM, and then I have a GeForce GTX 770 4 gig, which is actually equivalent to a 960, I believe, or 950. Because I've had a few games that have said, "Oh, you need a 950," and then I've checked if my graphics card will run them, and it's gone, "Yeah, it will." In fact, I was in my friend Kotagami's chat the other week, and he's now assigned pro for Apex. We mentioned him a couple times on the podcast when we spoke about Apex. And someone else in his chat said, "Oh, I can't play Apex." And then he turned around and went, "What graphics card do you have?" And I went 770, and that person turned around and went, "I have 770. I was like, "Well, I don't understand why you can't play Apex, because I can." And then they goes, "Oh, well, what version of the 770 have you got?" I was like, "A 4 gig one." Don't ask me the brand or anything, because I ain't got a clue. I just know it's a GeForce GTX 770 4 gig, right? And they're like, "Oh, I've got a 2 gig one." I said, "Well, maybe that's the fucking difference then. I've got more virtual memory than you."
Aye, it's one of those things just now. Even if you did want to upgrade any of that stuff, you've kind of had it at the moment.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, and I've discussed this with Kit, and I've discussed this with Fiend, even before the parts started to boom. Before the 3090 and the 30 series cards, before they came out, sort of back when the 20 series cards were the best ones you could get. I was like, "Oh, my cousin's got a 2060 Super. I'm pretty sure that's pretty decent. I would like to get one of them at some point." And
Yeah.
Kit and Fiend both turned around to me and went, yeah, that's pretty good. But Fiend turned around to me and says, like, because I bought my gaming PC off of Fiend, and like secondhand. He turned around to me and says, but with how old your CPU is, the motherboard is, and everything else is basically in that PC, what you might as well do is just buy a whole new PC. And I was like,
you
all right,
kind
well,
of need to upgrade everything before you dropped a better graphics card in there. Yeah.
So what I would say, what I've been saying ever since is, if I'm going to upgrade my PC, I would upgrade the entire thing. So I would buy a whole new gaming rig, and then what is currently my gaming PC would become my stream PC, and I'd probably just give my stream PC to my fiance to watch things on, or my son to play stuff like Roblox on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the moment, thankfully, they both do the job, so I'm not going to cuss them down in any way.
Don't say anything bad about them, because as soon as you do, they'll break.
Exactly.
That's the way that works. But yeah, I mean, I just like building them. It's fun for me, and they're always good streams. So whenever I do have a build to do, I'll stream the build.
Yeah.
We've had some great moments. One, including once when my entire arse fell out on stream. But
TOS.
Totally, that was a TOS violation. I'm just glad I'm small time and nobody on Twitch is actually looking. But
and I know why Kit has gone because we're going to cover the next topic is people getting banned.
It came close. I definitely came close that day. That's for sure.
So it's not quite as small. It's got a slightly bigger community, but
it's quite sad.
Yeah. So this wasn't for anything like happened on the stream. It was his a set of emotes that this guy had. So he, as he says in his tweet, that's just the this article. Streaming for 10 years, partner for 7. And he'd been banned because of the emotes. And he'd even made some changes to like the tag that he used to like use the emotes and the actual images. I mean, you can if you hear it live, you can see, or you're on YouTube, you can see the changes he made. Even at the first one was like a sort of a Gasm style emote, and he'd specifically gone and adjusted it so that it didn't have any of like the drool and stuff. And like the outfit of like Winnie the Pooh, right?
Yeah.
Basically just a red shirt. So obviously that's a bare ass. So he put a pair of jeans on him, a pair of shorts on him. That didn't help.
I mean,
and
I've probably got emotes right now, like from people that I sub to that are worse than that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what? How is that? And why ban them? Like, why the ban for the emotes? Why not just make them take the emotes down? Yeah.
But it's been a long going thing. With this set of emotes particularly, was that he's had enough time to go in and change these, and they've still said no. He had the emotes at the bottom of that list there, had been approved, was sort of struck off. He now doesn't have automatic approval, so all of his emotes are go through manually, right? That emote, earlier in the month got approved. A couple of months ago, that emote got approved, and then removed again. After it had been manually approved in the first place.
I mean, a couple of emotes in my current repertoire that come to mind. Is one from Noko and one from Katie. So let me grab them real quick.
Katie's RC emotes more graphic than that.
Well, is where I was going with it.
Exactly.
Where is it? Aha. Right, so I'm
you're
putting
gonna get
those.
it
I'm putting them in chat,
in chat.
so
Yeah.
you guys can see them if you're here live. Unfortunately, YouTube podcast platforms you can't see them, but they're about on par with the changes he made to the bum to this. Is about on par with this emote, if not a little bit,
Raunchier.
raunchier. Yeah.
I was like,
Mm.
I get that, like,
This-
sometimes these are from reports and stuff, but how pedantic do you have to be?
Yeah.
I think as well.
They're not even that bad.
I think as well. I don't know whether you guys might agree that some people will get things reported. So like somebody might report Katie's emote for sexual content or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
That peach one's great.
it's yeah, that is great.
It's Tamsin.
But whilst to me that's just her whole thing when she raids someone is spread love like cheeks, and that's her part of her raid message, right? I just see it as part of that, right? I don't see it as something raunchy, but somebody will report that and go, "Oh, that's too raunchy," or they'll look at the Noko booty, which is clearly because Noko's an Apex streamer. He's partnered on Twitch as well. He is quite clearly taking advantage of the fact that the Respawn devs of Apex decided to make Loba a very what's the word, raunchy, and she's got the assets, let's put it that way, right? So I think somebody might actually turn around and say, "Oh, I'm just going to." They'll see them two sat there, so like Katie with 140 odd viewers or whatever, Noko sat at like 2,000 to 3,000 on a good day. I think you've seen him higher than that, but just as an example sort of thing. And they might go, "Oh well, I don't think they've got some pre-existing bias. They don't like them for whatever reason. They're just like, oh, I'm going to report this emote." Do you know what I mean? And I think that's probably where
people that don't like booties. That's
Twitch needs to, like, kind of what Cyberus has just said in chat, need to take them at face value and sort of like actually investigate them, and not just go, "Oh, somebody's reported that, ban it."
Yeah, that's also true. Like when I saw on your schedule that was you were going to be talking about bans. That was it, Bacon Gangster. That was kind of what I thought we were going to be talking about, because obviously with him getting banned for stuff that we did not on his main account.
We've got something related to that. That's the Twitter link that didn't have a actual.
Right. Got you.
There are relations.
But that's kind of Destiny. So we'll.
Right, got you.
In a slightly later section.
But so obviously, go on, Kip.
No, I was gonna try and figure out a way to move us on to the next one, to be honest, because like we sort of covered this, it looks like Twitch are trying to do as much as they can to maintain sort of a good standing with like their advertisers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily always the best idea.
Here's my question: if he has like I have on my stream, because I swear a lot, right? Only available for mature audiences, right? So essentially, you need to be signed into an account, and that account needs to say you're over a certain age to be able to watch my stream, right? If he has that activated, where is the problem?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was about to say. If
where's the advertisements, where Kit was going with it, is like they're trying to stay in good standing with advertisers. The advertisers will already be looking at him and going, "Well, you're a plus 18 content creator. Like, We don't want to touch it. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
fine on his channel. The problem with the emotes is that you can use them across the entire platform.
True. So maybe make them follower emotes because they're a thing now.
That could be a valid option. And yeah, Cyrus just said as well. Yeah, there's something about it in the TOS somewhere in a long document that no one bothers to read the entirety of.
What you mean you haven't read the entire Twitch TOS? My goodness.
We all have. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We have to conform to TOS.
Yeah. We need to know what's in it to make sure we stick to it.
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
We're going into Ludwig. Speaking of advertisers.
Yeah. So this one is not specifically on platform, but is a big name on the platform. So sort of somewhat linked. But he's on 2 occasions. It says in the article actually, but one of them was more recent. There were like companies who like you've been talking to and stuff, who pulled out of brand deals because they found an image that they didn't think would fit with their company image. So one of them was this picture here, and because of the other person who was in this picture, a brand pulled out. Yeah, because just like an association with that person, they didn't feel that the other person that they were sort of like, oh yeah, hey, you know.
Oh wow.
Not necessarily that they're specific in
Let me read this real quick.
Go on.
So it's obviously a quote from Ludwig.
Yeah.
They were like, it wasn't Twitter. It might have been on your Instagram, he said, of his conversation with the unnamed brand. You had a picture with a porn star. I'm guessing porn star because, you know, it's 4 stars. And on your Twitter, and you had and they trailed off. Apparently, because I had a picture with Amoraf, I was not brand safe enough to work with this company, so they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. So I just what made me laugh was the fact that, like, I assume, like I said, that the 4 stars is, you know, censoring.
It's a fair assumption to make given the context.
Yeah.
Of the rest of the article.
So, like, I find that hilarious that a brand basically called after the conversations that have been going off all over, you know, Twitter, Twitch, wherever, about like ASMR streamers that, you know, have been showing their ass and doing other questionable things.
Yeah.
I find it funny that this brand just went, no, because she's an adult entertainment artist. She's not a streamer. Yeah. Because there are people that, like, for me, I've said it on the podcast before, and Twitch ended up doing it, right? I said, when we were talking about the fact that it was a hot tub meta and they were in Just Chatting, I said they should just make their own category, right? And then obviously Twitch did. And then the very next episode, Kit had that as a topic, and I went, I hate to say I told you so, but actually, no, I don't. This is what they should have done from the beginning.
It's what they should have done, and they did. And I think that week, when they'd launched it, the reason that I put that topic in was because the top 2 or 3 weren't even the kind of stream that we said, oh, this needs a separate category for it. It was like otters and stuff.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
And then it's funny because then they got their own category, and obviously it's been, you know, revealed by Twitch or at least been discussed amongst different members of the Twitch community, that certain advertisers won't touch the category with a barge pole for good reason. Obviously, they don't look at it as family-friendly content. They don't ally with them, sort of kind of like what they were trying to say Ludwig don't. In this, and the way I like put it across was they've got their own category, let them do whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. And then because they had their own category and advertisers won't touch them. They won't get as much advertisement revenue. A few people went away from that category because they didn't want to, have to scroll through other content that they weren't interested in because, it wasn't just hot tub like streamers, it was pools and what was the other bit? Forget what the other bit. Beaches, I think. So obviously they're scrolling through a couple of them to find people that they actually wanted to watch in a hot tub, and you notice if you looked at sort of the shift, as soon as Twitch turned around and went, here's your own hot tub category, streamers who were doing hot tub streams in Just Chatting, like Amarath, went back to ASMR. And then guess what? Within a week got banned because they were talking and licking into a mic with their arse showing in a suggestible position that is against TOS. And I think we covered that a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, we did. You see, and at least when they were doing the hot tub stuff, it was in the...
It was a grey area.
It was a grey area, but it was in. I think it was. I'm sort of paraphrasing in terms of service, but it was fitting attire for the occasion.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to the beach or sit in a hot tub in a fucking suit or a dress, or whatever,
But doing an ASMR stream where you are at one end of you're at the pillar end of your bed, talking into a mic, bent over a pillow, with your ass facing the camera in quite a suggestible position, kind of, it's not...
I don't see what's wrong with that, Trip. Like, that's how I'm sitting right now talking to you. Is that not how you're sitting?
The difference is, though, the audience can't see you.
Yeah. I mean, the point I'm trying to make is, like, by all means, sit however you feel comfortable. But when Twitch is there going, this is probably pretty questionable. We're gonna ban you with the intent of maybe causing you to fix your ways. You're only gonna get banned for like a week or 3 days or whatever it was that they got banned for. And then they're sitting there like crying on Twitter. Oh, why did I get banned? Well, you clearly know why you got banned. Like, come on. But I just thought it was kind of funny when I read that, like, as we were scrolling through this and talking about it, that they just point blank said, all right, she's a adult entertainment star. It's like, she's a streamer, but I can see where you're going with that unnamed brand.
Yeah, I mean, she's there playing Just Dance in her underwear right now, like, so I don't know, like.
Oh my!
They surely must have an issue with that as well. The level of jiggling that's happening. It's like watching a Genshin Impact stream.
Right. Let's get on to some Destiny stuff then.
Yeah.
They probably knew what led them to the ban, and the sort of high-profile ban recently, the past couple of days in Destiny. He probably knew what was coming. Although we like to make it point known that he didn't know and wanted more information. And
well, Scott,
what was it? CMG said.
Scott mentioned it. It was, what is his name?
Yeah.
Backen something.
Backen Gangster. Yeah. So the thing that really struck me was that level of clarity coming from Bungie about what the reason for that ban was, but also that they did it in response to a tweet, like a public tweet that everybody could see. I mean, I know the guy took it to Twitter in the first place and was like, why am I banned on Twitter?
Yeah.
But the fact that DMG actually responded to that sort of blew my mind a bit, to be honest, because, there are players who've been banned from the game who've never been told why they've been banned from the game. And there are some quite high-profile people who have been banned and who've spoken out on it, who where it's been handled behind closed doors. So for them to come out and be like, publicly, this is what you did, this is why we're banning you, I think was actually pretty impressive on Bungie's part.
I think it's sort of been a long time coming, because this, as much as we all like to say, oh yeah, Bungie, give us anti-cheat, they've got systems to monitor, and they are using them. So this, one, makes that known. Two, has made such a point, and it's gone around quite a lot now, that it would act as a low-level deterrent. You know, you'll still have people who would be using cheats in like things. They'll still be using them anyway. But like,
I'm gonna load something up that somebody posted.
Popping it up for.
I've loaded something up.
Like,
I've loaded something up.
Right. Okay.
I've loaded something up that somebody posted in response to him asking why he got banned. Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Watch this. You see it? Look at.
Yeah, the one frame.
Look. Golden Gun's looking this way. The shot goes that way.
Yeah.
I wonder why you were banned, dumbass.
Yeah. We're going to call that sus right there.
But this is the tweet. This is the tweet that we're talking about. Back in Gangster. DMG commented saying bans aren't issued without a reason. Blah blah blah. Then he was like, "Oh, I'd like to see proof."
That would normally. Yeah, because he responded to that. So normally they just leave it with that first tweet and go, all right, here's like some information about what we're doing and stuff, and leave it at that. But because this guy's responded, and I think he probably decided to actually put it on Twitter because of the information he got back from the team. Just on the sheer scale of it, because like, okay, two different times. Well, not two different times, multiple times, but two definitive occasions on separate accounts running the suite, and we found 4 accounts that you're running from that machine. You know, that's not the behaviour of a normal player.
Nah.
You know, let's say it. No, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. It's like, if I'm playing, and then like, let's say that I cheat on one of my accounts or whatever, right? And then it gets banned. Am I then going to go and play on another account using the same suite, or play on another account like in such short proximity, just to evade?
Well, yeah, it's ban evasion, and that's I mean, should be pretty common sense that that's going to be against TOS for any game with any kind of competitive element.
I've seen. I don't know whether it's further down this thread from Benny, which is obviously the tweet that we're actually using as a topic to refer to. But I've seen somebody turn around and say that companies should have, like, so obviously this Bakken guy was apparently a well-known content creator. I had no clue who he was when I saw the tweet. I just seen a load of people commenting on it and was like, oh, okay, I need to like pay attention to this to see where this is going. Primarily because obviously it might be something we want to cover like we are now on the podcast.
It might be something we want to cover. Oh, there's a link there.
Here we are. Cover
it.
So then I'm like, well, you know, I need to keep an eye on it, see where it goes, sort of thing. But I seen somebody, I think it might have been in there somewhere. But anyway, somebody basically argued the fact that like Bungie should have the power to sort of strike his content, and because he's basically being a fraud, isn't he? Saying like, oh, I'm this god at PvP, when in actuality is a fucking cheat. So, you know, this person was arguing. I can't remember who it was, and I can't, like I said, I don't remember where I saw the tweet, but I could see that being useful, but at the same time, it might get abused. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like right now with the cheater problem in Apex. A lot of the high-profile pro players that are like, you know, the tip top of Apex and can spot a cheater a mile off, are saying, well, listen, you give us the ban hammer. We see a cheater, we ban them. Boom, done. Like, we don't need to contact Respawn. And it's like, well, that could be, you know.
Yeah, you can't give players, regardless of how high-profile content creators they are, you can't give players the power to do that. You just that can't be a power that's out in the wild. I think in terms of anti-cheat, there are games that are obviously sort of esport type games that have a much more sort of invasive anti-cheat and are actually kind of looking in your system for what sort of stuff is installed there. Now, I know that people sort of cry out for anti-cheat in Destiny, and you know, I don't know whether that's the sort of system that they're talking about. Personally, the Destiny, you know, Destiny's never going to be an esport despite Bungie's best efforts to turn it into one over the years. So do we really need something that's got that level of authority in your system? Personally, I don't think we do, but I think we do need something that is a bit more, you know, a bit more automated, that can pick up the really obvious things, than, you know, than Bungie.
Like when the game
You know, what they've got
registers
just
that
now.
somebody's fired off a chaos reach 6 times in the space of 10 seconds, like
Exactly, yeah, stuff like that. You know, or when someone's firing a single shot grenade launcher full auto, you know, that kind of stuff. But like,
Yeah, like
yeah, but
an event-based system that's like, okay,
yeah,
these are things that are happening in the game that are my data points, rather than having something that's like going, oh, well, there's this funny-looking process over here.
yeah, exactly. I mean, personally, I don't, you
Because,
know,
I mean,
but I
the
don't
way
like
I
having
look
stuff
at
like that in my system. You know, like if
Yeah.
you look at the Riot anti-cheat for Valorant, like that has got a fucking administrator privileges in your machine practically.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm genuinely not comfortable having it on mine, but like, you know, Destiny doesn't need that level of anti-cheat. You know, it just needs, as you said, get like something event-based like that, combined with what they've got just now, and I think it's a much fairer game from there. But it's good to see Bungie. You know, it's good to see Bungie taking that kind of action for sure.
Even if the event type system that we kind of suggested just now, even if that like gives you a temporary ban of, okay, you're banned for a week until Bungie employees can investigate
review
the incident.
Yeah, I mean, even if you could do it sort of like a stage thing, so like it could be, you know, first time it happens, you just get, you know, you're banned from that particular game mode for a day, and then, you know, it's all of the game modes for a couple of days, you know, like a weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the more it scales, it'll scale like up to, I don't know, a week temporary ban, and then obviously when you get through the later stages, it'll flag up, because otherwise you'll have a load of people, like you'll have a backlog of things to investigate, and you really only want to be investigating the ones where like, okay, this is actual cause for concern now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think a system like that feels like it would be fair. It doesn't feel particularly, you know, it doesn't feel open to abuse or anything like that. It feels, you know, that's the sort of anti-cheat system that the game should have.
So going on to what Benny said, right? People have asked me why I don't use an M&K cam, and I'd reply that D2 is an easy game to aim in, and that it isn't particularly impressive, in my opinion. Given the current situation, I think it'd be wise for PvP creators to invest in a second camera just to protect yourself. I'm going to. So, a couple things to say on that. I was watching my Kef earlier, who you know recently had a thing that's become a meme in my channel now, because of a few of the lads, Kitsune included. I was watching him earlier, and because I raided him when I finished my actual stream earlier today, and basically like he was in PvP. One of his teammates, one of the people he was playing with, turned around and said that Sentinel had aim assist, right, and that's why it tracked him. And I was like, no, that's not aim assist, that's bullet magnetism. And it's because it's that makes that makes Destiny so easy to like aim with, and it's, as Benny says, not particularly impressive. There is a degree of bullet magnetism because the game was initially designed for console.
It's a console game, yeah.
Alright, so there's that. And one thing I will say on that point as well is the difference between the bullet magnetism and aim assist is aim assist, and I can tell you this because I only switched over to PC in December. I played 2 weeks on controller, and then doing raids with Grandad and playing community customs with Pigeon basically converted me over to M&K. in Destiny, but I still use a controller in Apex, right? Just because it's more comfortable for me. Aim assist slows down your reticle, you know, your crosshair or whatever, when you are going over an enemy target. Bullet magnetism is when you are close to said target, the bullet magnetizes to it because it goes, well, you're close enough, you might as well get that hit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is part of what makes DMT hip fire such an issue. And we'll get onto that in a bit, because I know it's in the TWAB, I've already read it.
No!
But then going on to where he says here, not suggesting that Bungie falsely banned anyone at all. Obviously, he's then referring to the back-end tweet we just covered. Nor do I think they ever have. I think there must be more validity behind bans personally. So, kind of like, not just a, there you go, you're banned sort of thing. And they need to, like, actually say, alright, we've got a valid reason for banning you, here's the proof. So, you know, he's kind of saying what Bakken was asking for, which is proof. Obviously, he never got that proof, but DMG did say he triple checked with the security team and, you know, the bandstand sort of thing. Not to protect yourself from bans, but also just other players' accusations, etc. Until the cheater situation changes, I'm going to. So what he's obviously referring to there is, like, you'll go into PvP, you'll die quite suddenly to someone who, like, double headshots you, and you're like, that's sus. That's what he's referring to there. He doesn't protect yourself from other players' accusations. Obviously, he's a pretty decent PvP player, and someone even jokingly, with the capital GIF here, says, what you gonna do about the stream profile comment? Obviously, people have assumed that Benny's cheating and fucking...
and then go and claim the Steam profile and stuff. Yeah.
I never get anyone comment on my Steam profile. That's why.
Me neither.
Because
the
I'm
thing is,
rubbish at PvP.
this is the thing. I kind of have a double standard when it comes to Steam profiles, right? If I look at a Steam profile, and so if I think somebody's cheating, I'll go and look at a Steam profile to see if somebody's commented, oh, I think they're cheating. And if somebody has commented that, I'm also looking for comments like, no, this guy's a legit player. Do you know what I mean? But if I go and look at your Steam profile and you've got it private, instantly I'm like, I wonder why you've got it private.
More
for sure.
Even more suspicious is when, like, you've got a couple, like one or two of the comments saying you cheat, so it's like, okay, well, maybe they're just people trying to flame them. We can sort of pass on that. Yeah. But then you look at the Steam level and it's just 2.
Aye.
But speaking of you know, Bungie, because it's related to a ban.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Things their employees would have to deal with. Yeah.
Rather than them banning someone from the game, they want to hire somebody from the game.
Oh, for the game. Yeah. So, Destiny Historian was actually in the job title that they were looking for. They're hiring a Destiny Historian. Someone to catalogue its sprawling universe, get all the lore together, make sure, like, there's no random loose threads lying around or anything, and sort of gather it all into one big cohesive...
I kind of think...
wiki, basically.
Yeah, I kind of think that's what they're trying to do this year. Think about how long ago Courier was. I will get onto that in a minute, Punk. Think how long ago Courier was first mentioned, and how long we've not heard fuck all about Courier.
Yeah.
It was first mentioned in Taken King. Mentioned a little bit, I think, in Forsaken lore, because, you know, it was connected to how Riven became Taken. And obviously Savathun and all that. And then we've heard basically fuck all about Courier until this season. So I think Bungie is using this year to grab all the threads together Because it's funny as well. We waited basically 2 years until we got the crow back, right?
Wait, it's almost like Ada's loom is a metaphor for what Bungie's doing with the story.
Exactly.
Wow.
They're
That's deep.
pulling.
That's deep, mate.
Exactly. I think that's what they're doing. They're pulling all the loose ends together, and they're trying to. But because people always criticize, Bungie's storytelling in the lore is like the best. But I have to go and watch a Bife video or a Mylan video to get the full story. I shouldn't have to do that. People are always criticizing that, right?
Yeah, I think this seasonal model that they're doing now, though, is making them much, much better at that than they used to be.
But this is
like
what
the
I'm saying,
storytelling
Scott.
in the game now is excellent.
I'm pulling all those loose threads together and now making one cohesive story going forward from Witch Queen, and that's why they're hiring this Destiny historian. Because they can then go through all the lore, not including what has, been tied together already with everything that's leading up to Witch Queen right now. And go, right, have we left anything out that we could use in Witch Queen where, I know, Savathûn took control of fucking a Cabal fucking Valus. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And then that's I think that's what they're aiming to do, sort of thing, is get them to sort of go, because they've already got a passion for the lore that's part of the job description, if I remember correctly. Which is why a lot of people, like Punk did in my chat, suggested Bife, and then Bife tweeted two things that I very much respect him for. One, his wife, now wife, because they just got married at the weekend. Hey, Downbeat! Thanks for the raid, dude. Bife tweeted basically that his wife is from, I believe, from America.
Yeah, she is.
And she's only just moved to the UK, and then obviously they're married now. And then he was also like, let's highlight somebody else that's not me or Mylan as a lore master within the community.
I voted for Project.
Very, very much respect him for those two, because he's like, well, my fiance, who's now my wife, has only just moved to the UK. I'm not going to force her to move back to the US just because I've got a job with Bungie. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be something that he could end up doing in the Amsterdam office whenever that gets sorted out. I believe it's Amsterdam anyway, the EU office that they're planning on doing.
I'm seriously hoping they need an HR manager when they open in Amsterdam. Definitely applying for that job.
But
I think it's I think you're right. I think in terms of like why they're looking to appoint that person now, it feels like they've kind of taken their first, not baby steps, but they've taken their first kind of, sort of substantial move into putting the lore in the game and making the game the vehicle for the storytelling in a much more substantial way than they have done in the past. And that feels like that's what this job is about, is like someone, for the writing team to consult with, for the game design team to consult with, to be able to say, this would happen, that wouldn't happen.
Sort of like a bridge
exactly. These are the these are threads that you can think about tying together here.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be awesome. And that it can only strengthen like the quality of the game and the quality of the storytelling if they do that. As I say, my vote's for Project. Project knows his apples with the lore.
Yeah, I kind of wish we had you on last week and Project on this week. I'd probably be telling Project to go and apply for this job.
I know, exactly.
But
I'm kind of glad that you mentioned Kura, sorry, just before, because you said that we hadn't really seen much of her until this season. And as anyone who has been on and done the weekly mission,
are you going to this one?
There's a new mission. Yeah, we'll just skip over the next one and just sort of rearrange them if you want.
Yeah.
there was a bit of a discussion over yeah, you got it there, yeah. So Nathan's saying there and said, "Yo, that quinoa mission was sick. GG's Bungie." And it's a common typo or joke that I'd seen a lot before, and when I was discussing it before we went live, just before. Apparently, I hadn't seen it anywhere, but it was relatively common that people would misspell or jokingly, deliberately misspell Curia's name as quinoa, which is equally as annoying to pronounce. Which obviously is
Yeah.
food stuff rather than what was it, like a taken vex sort of.
Yeah.
Courier's technically half taken.
Right. Okay.
Oh, so you used to apply for the job. You used to apply for it.
Yeah, you know what
You knew a thing I didn't know there.
yeah, but it was someone saying basically, it wasn't that great. It's basically just what we've already got thrown together, and they just added someone from lore for no real reason.
Well, real quick, Courier actually is a result of a mistake that Crota made that allowed the Vex to invade Oryx's throne world, and then Oryx sort of took them, patched up the throne world piercing, by basically putting his throne world inside the dreadnought and making it constantly on the move, because then the Vex couldn't pin them down to thingy. And Courier is the mind, the blade transformed, because it was the Vex mind that the Vex built to try and understand the sword logic in Oryx's throne world. Oryx then took it, which is where the transformed part of it comes from, and then gifted it to ScottThaDude because it still kind of had a mind of its own, and therefore Oryx felt like Courier might cause an issue for ScottThaDude, and therefore, because they were always, even though they all cared about each other because they were, originally sisters, but obviously Oryx changed gender when they became the Hive from I forget what their original Quill, I think their original species of name.
Krill, yeah.
They were all obviously supportive of each other because they were siblings. We'll just say that. But at the same time, the thing of the sword logic, how Oryx got the power to take on the worm god, to then kill said worm god, to acquire the power to take, was killing his two sisters. So, I kind of know a little bit about it, mainly because I've watched a lot of fucking Life's videos and Mine's videos. But I kind of agree with what Downbeats just put in chat. He said he had a feeling that they would do one with all three of the expunge missions together. I felt the boss could have been harder, but I enjoyed the mission. I feel like the same, but at the same time, going into that mission, the one of the attacks that it does, we haven't seen that done anywhere else. Like the death walls or whatever that it
Bring on
sends
the
out.
wall!
Right? It's a death wall. We've seen that before, but we haven't seen it done how it's done in that mission, right? So I'm like, wow, this is cool. And I would argue,
thought it was cool. I really enjoyed the mission.
I would argue if they could find a way to incorporate something at the beginning to sort of lead up to going into the Vex expunge area, like with Pyramidion Strike, you landed on Io and you worked your way into the Pyramidion.
Yeah.
If you did something like that, but with the Courier mission that we've got, they could essentially do what they did with Prophecy. So at the end of Season of Arrivals, Prophecy went away and then came back like a season later. Yeah. like halfway through Season of the Hunt, or yeah, it was halfway through Season of the Hunt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It came back. I think they could pretty much do the same thing with, because obviously expunge missions and the overrides are going to be around now until Witch Queen, right? Because that's the new seasonal model that we've got. I think maybe with Witch Queen arriving, they could turn around and go, all right, you know the expungers you enjoyed so much? Well, we're getting rid of the normal ones. We're keeping, I forget what the name of the one that has Courier in it is called, but it's basically all three of them mixed, right? We're doing that, and we're sort of extending it a little to explain how you got into the Vex network, and it's going to become a strike. I could see them doing it, and I would not see... It's about as hard as a strike boss, as far as I'm concerned. You know, hard enough that you kind of struggle with it solo, but not hard enough to where you're like, oh shit, this is a fucking dungeon boss, I'm going to struggle like hell.
Yeah.
And I've seen
I mean, I ran it with a fire
been...
team, and it felt like a strike. But I think it could easily be a strike.
See,
it's about as long as... Yeah, it's about as long as the Corrupted or the Scarlet Keep or something like that. So I could totally see that mission being a strike.
They're like, one of the things I've said is people are arguing, oh well, Courier should have been like a Golgoroth or War Priest from Kingsfall to Savathun's and Savathun being Oryx. You know, in a Witch Queen DLC, Savathun's your big bad raid boss, and then Courier is a mini boss on the way there because whatever you want to call it, it's a machine. It has a kind of female sounding name. I'm gonna say she. Most machines are considered females anyway, like cars and stuff. But I would say, why I agree with that, there is nothing definitive that says that this is the end of Courier. Do you know what I mean? All we see is it sort of explode into a Vex thing. It's in the Vex simulation. How do we know that that's not a simulation of Courier? And it can.
How do we know that's so Courier's partaken? How do we know that's not a throne world?
Exactly.
Like a Vex taking Vex's version of a throne world, it could be.
That's where I was going. It could be kind of like that's a simulation of Courier, and then you have to fight Courier later, and that's the actual Courier, and it kind of works like a throne world in a sense of you beat him in the real world, but in this case you're not beating him in the real world, you're beating him in the simulation. So it's kind of like the opposite way around to a throne world. You know how with Taken and Hive, you have to beat them in the real world, and then they go back to the throne world, and then you have to beat them again. That's opposite way around is basically what I'm saying. We beat them in a non-realistic world, which is the simulation, and then we have to beat Courier in the real world to actually kill it. I think that potentially could be a thing. It's up to Bungie whether they go that route or not. They could feel like
I don't think that doesn't seem out with the realms to me. Like, that doesn't feel like with the realms a reason for me. Like, I think that's
what I mean.
Totally something that could happen.
It doesn't seem outside the realms of possibility, right? Like you said, it could be something that could happen. But at the same time, all these people that go, Courier should have been a mini boss in a raid or a dungeon boss. I get that. The hype behind the character, that's what it should have been. But if Bungie, as the people who write the story and make the game and all that, go, do you know what? Season of the Splicer finished off Courier's story and tied up that loose end and gave us a connection to Savathun leading into the Witch Queen quite nicely. We'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna respect that personally.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Bungie can design raid encounters without dipping into the lore as well. Like, you know, they're not. It's not that they're going to be short of ideas to give us raid encounters for Witch Queen. You know, so
no. And while I do appreciate a good tying of a loose end, you kind of need to get to the loose end first, and it's not exactly easy to do that.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, we've got a tweet from Hath here. As a text from his friend, I was saying they've got no idea how to get back into Destiny, and they don't even know where to tell them to begin.
Yeah.
So what the fuck should I be doing in Destiny? The quest interface never becomes clear.
Yeah.
And so
That
I know Half and not so much Scarf, but they were both in favoured. I do know Half a bit more than I know Scarf. I interacted with him in our old favoured clan Discord quite a bit. So I know when he turns around and says, "Oh, I'm posting this to Twitter," he's not trying to be a dick to his friend. He is just saying, "Listen, I have no idea either, so I've just done what I've done as I've been playing." Do you know what I mean? And then Scarf obviously adds in here like that's why I've just been chilling in the Crucible or the Tower because I have no idea how to raise my light level if I wanted to. And
yeah, that's a question you get asked so often as well. Like when you stream, someone returning to the game or someone new to the game will come in and they'll be like, how did I get to be amazing as you? Just play the game.
To that question?
Like leveling isn't hard now in this game.
About the quests. Like what quests should you start with?
So I would say you want to do the new light quest. If you're a brand new player, you want to do the new light quest because actually I've done it. So so through necessity, I share a Steam account with my son. No, the current one. So sometimes when he's playing on Steam, I can't get playing Destiny, so I have to have an alt account so that I can jump on and do stuff if he happens to be on Steam. So I had to start a new character, I had to start a new account, and I started the New Light quest. The New Light quest introduces you really well. So if you're a brand new player, then do the New Light quest.
This is returning players though.
Yeah, so returning players, I'm like, well, it depends what content you own. Like, do you have the season passes? Did you buy Beyond Light? Did you buy all the seasons with it? But, basically do anything with a yellow circle, right? Like, do Powerfuls and Pinnacles. The leveling hasn't changed, and it's not difficult. There's more sources of powerful tier gear in the game now than there's ever been. You can literally level by doing whatever activity you like to do. If you like doing PvE, Strikes, Nightfalls, Raids, play Strikes, Nightfalls and Raids and you'll level up to 1300, 1310 in no time. If you like PvP, just play Mayhem for like a full day and you'll be 1310. It's really not difficult to level up. Once you're at that level and you're at end game level, then start doing Pinnacles, start looking for people to play with. But until then, just do whatever you like doing.
For me, the way I looked at this is the question coming from his friend was more, what quests do I do? So they come back from, I don't know, back when Forsaken came out. Let's say they gave up, or like me, they gave up in Curse of Osiris. Because I actually tweeted to at someone on an EK tweet earlier. I said I gave up in Curse of Osiris, and then I came back in Season of the Worthy, and I was kind of like that. But at the same time, I looked at my quest tab, and I was like, okay, I own Forsaken, I own Shadowkeep. I started the campaigns for those, but never finished them. Let me. I was on my Hunter, but then I was like, I do kind of like enjoy playing my my Titan. So I tell you what, I'm just gonna go back through those stories on my Titan.
Yeah.
And then I didn't end up going through the Forsaken campaign because I thought I was like, I looked at the missions and I looked up a guide on the internet, and I was like, okay, I'm like right near the beginning on that on my Hunter, so I just did that on my Hunter, and then I looked it up on my Titan, and I was at my Hunter on for Shadowkeep as well. I was like, oh, I'm so close to the beginning on that as well. Fuck it, I'm just gonna do. Do you know what I mean? So the way I would say is, if you're a returning player and you're partway through a quest, because now we have quest steps. It says,
Mhm.
you know, step 5 out of 20 or whatever. Maybe go
Yeah.
and pick the same quest up. If it's a campaign-related quest, like Beyond Light, for instance, maybe go and pick
Yeah.
that quest up on another character and play through that. But then also, if not, and you are just a returning player, and let's say you did quit before Forsaken came out, but you bought Forsaken because you thought, I'll go back to Destiny at some point.
Aye.
And Forsaken is part of the reason that you thought about coming back, so you bought it like,
Mm.
do you know what? I'm gonna play that, and then never played it. I would
Mm.
say go through Forsaken, then go through Shadowkeep, then go through Beyond Light, then
Mhm.
like go through the story content from the seasons, and sort of try and catch up story wise to what we've got now, rather than
Mhm.
you know, there's no point in you trying to do a quest from this season and not knowing why we've got Europa. Do you know what I mean? Why
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
why Mithrax makes any sort of reference to the
Mm.
darkness in the override missions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You won't gonna understand that if you haven't done the Beyond Light campaign.
Yeah, for
And
sure. As I say, that's
although-
like that's why my advice is always like play the stories, play the campaign. You know, once you start to once your light starts to level out, then start doing your powerfuls and pinnacles, because the story content is really good now. The Forsaken campaign's excellent. Shadowkeep campaign's really good. You know, the Beyond Light campaign's really good, and then the end game stuff. You know, the kind of grinding Europa stuff that you have to do. You know, the quest you've got like the quests for Lament. You've got the quest for Xeno. You know, those if you want to do raids, those are really good weapons to have. So, you know, I think. Yeah, I think for me it is just about playing. You know, it's just about playing the game, playing whatever content you like, but make sure you experience the story. You know, so that you can, you know, understand the context and understand what's going on really more than anything else.
Yeah, and the other side to that is, you know, things that come with experience and sort of experimentation. So some of the things that, like, as soon as a new player sees them, assuming they like haven't, you know, they've gone through the new like introduction quest or whatever, even if they haven't, and they just go, well, it can't be that difficult to learn. Some of the things that we like use or know are things that like we've picked up over time, things that, you know, the new quest system, the way they were built on the previous stuff. So like obviously we know how to use all of this stuff because of like the previous version and the previous version and the previous version that we've just been used to using, just having there at our disposal. And you know, as you say, go through like the story missions and everything, just play the game, even if you don't achieve anything initially. Just play it for a bit, get used to the way, you know, your character handles the different abilities, you've got the different options you've got for changing them around and stuff. Okay. You know, the different parts of the menu, you know,
Yeah.
tracking quests. You know, I mean, the thing on the right now, that we've got where you can like you've got your different things for tracking and your bounty list and everything is if you saw that you wouldn't know what the hell was going on originally. But if you look at that and go, well, that's clearly just an extension of the thing that we had last time when you just pull up your ghost and that's the thing that you've chosen which to track. We don't have to choose them now. The bounties just show up.
Yeah, that's it. I think they definitely could do more from like a UI perspective to tell you, you know, to inform new players of where to go and what to do and stuff like that. They definitely could do that. Like as I say, playing through the new light quest, if you're a brand new player, is excellent. Your introductory experience coming through new light's really, really good. Like as I say, when I started my new character on a new account as a new light player, I was really impressed, I have to say, about the job. And that coming as an experienced player who knows all those systems, I thought that's a really good way to introduce, you know, defenders, gambit, strikes, PvP, you know, so it sends you to all of the places that you need to be. What it doesn't do a great job of is then saying, you know, this little kiosk over here will give you access to the other stuff that you might want to play. So you're kind of left at the end and you like going, what else can I do? What's next?
See, I've not done the new light quest yet.
Yeah, it's worth doing. It's good fun. It's really good.
Every time I'm like, do you know what? I might do it so I can get a Kavostov on my light. It comes to the end of the season because I've got burnt out. So
But
then
I
I've got
can't get it
like
now.
2 weeks where it's at my level, and then I'm like, well, it'll be at 10 levels higher next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get on to the TWAB then.
The twab,
because,
yeah.
but one last thing I will say on that is when we was in that clan, me and Kit, Legion of Forsaken that I mentioned earlier, because obviously just before Beyond Light, they made Forsaken and Shadowkeep available on Game Pass. We had a bunch of the guys that hadn't owned those DLCs that were in our clan that would come to the Sherpa team and be like, where do I start? And that was literally what I said was, just do the campaign missions.
Yeah.
And if you need any help, like, let's say you don't want to bother with the story, you just want to blast through them so you've got access to everything that the end of that campaign gives you access to, let me know. I will jump on a character I haven't completed it on. We'll blast through it.
Yeah.
Which is why my Warlock to this day still has the quest node there for me doing one of the Forsaken campaign missions on the Tangled Shore.
I'm the world's worst for completing quests and that as well. Like
getting into the TWAB. So I think just before they put out the TWAB, they put out the trailer for the Solstice of Heroes. I'm not gonna watch it.
I didn't see the trailer. I did see one of the images that's further down in the tab on one of the Twitter accounts, though.
Yeah, I saw the trailer on Katie Cat's stream. I was watching her play CFEs earlier, so.
Nice.
And then somebody said, "Have you seen the Solstice of Heroes trailer?" She went, "No, I haven't. Let me go and have a look." And so obviously she pulled it up on stream, and everybody watched it. I do prefer these glowy armors over the previous ones, and I bought the previous ones, so that's kind of annoying. But
I did like the other ones though. Like not the first. Was it the first set of glows they did?
Yeah.
Not the last ones, but the ones before.
I bought the last ones. I like the horns thing. Kind of like Loki.
Not a huge fan of the glowy armor. I think that Titan set looks nice, but I'm not a huge fan of the other sets. I have to be honest. It's not. It's never really an event. Solstice of Heroes that really floats my boat.
What I don't like about the glowy
cloak, right?
That's the Guardian Games cloak, isn't it? It's very like the Guardian Games cloak.
I mean, it's very similar to the fucking Scorpion cloak too.
Yeah.
You've got the main body of the cloak is all like filled in to some extent, and then there's a big gap. Obviously, in the Scorpion cape, it's just the scorpion tail going down with the cape actually all over, and then the tail sort of curls round. Yeah. That makes sense, but to keep doing cloaks like this, what is the point of it? I'm sorry, in a practical sense, if this was an actual, human being, awoken, exo, whatever, walking around, they're going to step on this and it's just going to get ripped. Like, have you ever had trousers that are slightly too long and they go underneath your trainers? Underneath your trainers or your boots? Look at the state of those like, the back of your shoes. Not the back of your shoes, the back of your trousers when they fall underneath your boots or whatever.
Definitely.
The bigger problem I've got with the glowy armor sets is that often I look at it and go, "Oh, that helmet's nice and those arms look alright," but there's nothing you can use them with because there's nothing else that's got the matching glow.
Yeah. I really much prefer the glow system from D1, the chroma system that we had back then.
Yeah.
Captain Armor could take the chromas, you could apply it, you could personalise it. I'd love them to bring that back, and I think that would fit in so well with the transmog system as well.
Yep.
I'm not saying like you need to put chromas on every armor, but having it in there as like a little bit of sauce for the transmog system, I think would be brilliant. A system like chroma from D1.
So Downbeat said the Warlock set is the best one. Titan is alright too, but as a hunter main, I'm a little disappointment disappointed with the hunter set,
Yeah,
and I can see
Yeah.
why. To be honest,
yeah.
the
Nah, I
warlock
agree.
set is as a warlock main. From the front, yeah, it looks cool. From the back in this picture, it looks just like any other fucking
Like-
set. To be
Like
honest,
any
give
other
me,
warlock.
give me a dress. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
And here's my problem is that I love those boots. I think those boots are cool. I wouldn't wear the rest of the set.
Aye.
Yeah,
nah.
yeah, with Guardian Games, we're getting a new legendary shotgun.
Wait, another Guardian Games related shotgun.
Not Guardian Games.
Well, another
Solstice,
shotgun.
do you know what I mean? You know what I
Another
mean.
event themed shotgun.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's just,
They've picked a body shape and they've gone. That'll
Let's
do.
paint it.
yeah. You like these shotguns now? I mean, yeah, it's just I find it really difficult every year to get excited about
Oh, I put
Solstice to Heroes.
after
I
I
don't
sent you
really
the
enjoy
screenshot.
the
After I sent you the screenshot of the like the schedule with the topics and stuff, I actually read through the TWAB because obviously it came out like 3 hours before the podcast
It was
went
really
live.
early today.
Bungie, please keep doing that so we have options to fucking read the
Yeah.
thing and pull. Like, I'm not being funny. When we do this podcast, right? Normally it comes out at 11 o'clock our time. Fine, you know, it works out well for them over in the US. That's fine. But when they do it at like 7 in the evening for us, which is like, I
It's
don't
much
know,
easier.
what,
Yeah.
like, they're 8 hours behind us, so it's like 11 in the morning for them.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is like, I get like when we're doing these podcasts, I get 3 hours, so does Kit, and whoever we've got on as a guest gets 3 hours to look at the TWAB, and then if there is a bunch of stuff that we don't want to cover, I can just go, oh, right, well, there's this, there's this. You know, we don't have to talk about it, and I just skip through until we get to a point where I think we need to talk about it on the podcast, and we're saving ourselves time. But I digress, because half the time it comes out at 11 o'clock our time, which is 55 minutes ago for anybody who's here live and isn't from the UK. And it's like, I'm already mid-podcast. I can't dissect the TWAB and then, you know, discuss it. I just have to scroll through and pick things out, sort of thing.
I sometimes.
I'll have a word with him for you. I'll have a word with him for you. Don't worry about it.
I
sometimes can have a quick breeze through it.
When Grandad was on, he said he was going for global domination, so maybe we should get him to have a word.
Grandad's got all sorts of celebrity contacts now as well, so I'm sure something could happen.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
But anyway, like, I just, the way I look at it is Solstice, and we're gonna get into it. Like, there's where I was going with that train of thought. I lost my train of thought, if you noticed there, Kit. When I sent you the screenshot,
No, I
I
didn't notice.
I then read the TWAB, and then on that document that I got the screen grab from to send you, Scott, you can ask Kit. I added on next to where Kit had put there's some meaty points. I put Trep's about to rant.
Yeah. like all of the others have just got like the title of the link or whatever, and this one's got TWAB. Some gems in this one. Trep rant time.
And this is where we get to
This
it.
is why. Here we go.
So, Master Vog is coming. We all knew this from the seasonal roadmap, and everybody's been looking forward to it because, you know, it is basically here players have a harder version of a raid, so that, you know, for most people it's going to be kind of like doing a GM but in a raid, right? And so obviously you get Fate Bringers, but Fate Breakers, even play on the words, obviously, from the vault. It's coming on Tuesday this week. Fair enough. Enemies will be at 1350 power. So if you wanna earn some pinnacle power and raise your artifact levels before attempting a run. There you go. Blah blah blah. This is all fine and dandy. You know what you earn first, like final triumphs for Fate Breaker Seal and title. Once completed, players may equip their in-game title, purchase bundle rewards, blah blah blah. You get the ship, potentially. I think it might be a random drop. I can't remember. I think it might be in here somewhere. But this, it will introduce the time lost weapons. They've been in the API. People have seen them on light.gg and they're like, I want these variants. I wonder if they're going to be adept, like variants of these guns. We have now got it confirmed right here. As you can see, they'll be comparable to adept weaponry from Grandmaster Nightfalls.
Yeah.
But offer an additional perk in columns 3 and 4. So whereas right now I think the adepts have 2 perks at the end, they have whatever perk they roll with, and then like Bottomless Grief or what's the other one? Trials one.
I don't know. Not Celerity.
Bottomless, Celerity. That's it.
Where's the Celerity? Okay.
Bottomless Grief is the
Apparently,
PvE
version.
version. This will give you basically, if you go and look at like Salvage a Salvo, for instance, how you have Ambitious Assassin or Demolitionist, and then Chain Reaction or Vorpal. That's basically how these weapons apparently. That's the way I read this anyway. That's how they'll be read out. Those last 2 perk columns will have 2 perks each. You can pick
2 perks each, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Which could make the chase for God Roll ever so slightly easier.
Yeah, here's the thing. That's completely fine as well. Complete Voltaglass challenges in master difficulty of the activity, and you'll be rewarded each week. Will feature a specific time lost weapon, similar to how we've got, you know, specific adept weapons in Nightfalls GMs right now. Each week rotating alongside the available challenge. Once you've earned a time lost weapon, you'll be able to purchase additional rolls from the chest at the end of the raid on master difficulty. You'll have to be on master difficulty to have those accessible in that chest. Again, completely fine. Using Spoils of Conquest. I assume since normal weapons are 20, they might make these 40, for argument's sake. And there you go. Note, these will be at a higher price than the normal versions for these weapons. This is where the rant starts for me, right? Please note, weekly reward lockouts are shared between normal and master difficulties of Vault of Glass. That means encounters, challenges, hidden chests will only award gear the first time you complete them in either activity each week. Must be completed on master first to earn time lost weapons, stat focused armor. I am sorry, I don't remember going into hard mode King's Fall. It might be because it was all those years ago, but I don't remember going into hard mode King's Fall and then going and helping my friend on a different, like, on my same characters on the normal version and not getting normal version loot. They were registered as 2 different activities as far as I can remember. So why the fuck we've got 2 different difficulties in activity where loot pool is basically tied together? So you do 3 normal raids, 1 on each character. You can't get any time lost weapons that week because you can't get any rewards from the master because you've already done your normals. Like, I'm sorry, that's going to be a case. This is going to be a case. This is going to be a case for me where just recently with the Just Wipe It crew, we've been doing like 1 raid on a Tuesday. It didn't happen this week, but we've been doing 1 raid on a Tuesday, and then we'll do like 1 or 2 more on like the Saturday, because obviously time zones work out better for the US lot and me. Most like, or sometimes I will do 1 of them and then they'll go on to do another one because it's like my time to get off, sort of thing. They'll go and do, you know, they'll replace me with somebody else in the clan and carry on, sort of thing. So again, completely fine. For me, the way I see this is if I was to turn around and say, all right, I'm gonna do a raid on the Tuesday with the Just Wipe It crew. I'm gonna do it on my Warlock. I'm gonna do it on Master, and then anybody asks me for help with a normal difficulty from then on that week, I'm on my Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
I am not touching my other two characters.
Yeah.
And then when it comes down to potentially getting another raid or two at the weekend with the rest of the crew, then I'll do my Titan and my Warlock, my Titan and my Hunter, and I'll obviously say, yo, we're doing this on Master, which, like I said earlier, they're all, you know, high tier players. They do GM helps, and raid helps, like, so they're not gonna want to. When Master's out, they're probably not gonna want to do normal anyway. So I'm not even gonna need to mention, oh, we're doing this on Master. I'm just gonna know we are.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, this feels like a somewhat heavy-handed attempt to try and limit farming them. So not farming the time-lapse or anything, but rather the
farming pinnacles and
pinnacles. Yeah. So the potential to like drag someone through to try and get the pinnacles from Master, and then obviously you can do it on normal. If they're still getting the rewards, they'll get their pinnacles again. Rather than just going, oh right, well obviously this isn't the first time, so the one that drops will just drop at normal power. You know, whatever it is that drops.
Again, though, it goes
could
back
have done,
to
would have required more effort.
it goes back to them telling us how to play the game. Like, they didn't do this in Destiny 1. It was, here's your activities, go and do them.
Yeah. I mean, the system in D1, I mean, I can only speak to what used to happen.
Stripe-specific loot is one of the best systems that they have left behind. Like, they need to bring
yeah.
That's
so the raid system, so I can only really speak to what happened in Age of Triumph and Rise of Iron towards the end, because that was when I started doing really focusing on raids. If you did the hard mode, you got the normal mode loot as well. Remember, so you'd get 2 chests would spawn at the end of each raid encounter if you did it on the 390 version. I kinda don't see why they can't just do that.
Yeah, that
works well enough. Give you normal mode loot, give you hard mode loot. Even just make the hard mode loot the pinnacle. I'd be okay with that.
That's a good point.
So the hard mode looks the pinnacle.
Downbeat said in chat, I would like to have seen ornaments for the armor sets for master difficulty.
Oh, please,
like how it was used in D1. So obviously in D1 we had, the armor that we've got now, basically.
Yeah.
Just
the best armor sets were the hard mode ornament sets.
That's what I mean. Then you went into hard mode after Age of Triumph, and you had like Vex legs and stuff, the ornaments exclusively for that armor. You don't need to make them exclusively for that armor now because universal ornaments are a thing with transmog. But the point I'm trying to say is, like, if they basically what I'm taking away from what Downbeat's saying there. If they turn around and went, all right, normal difficulty, you get your armor. Master difficulty, you get that armor from a normal chest, kind of like you were saying, Scott. And then from your master chest, you'll get an ornament for said piece of armor. You can use that ornament on any piece of armor, but it will basically make you look like you've got the Vault Glass armor on, and it will be kind of like the D1 ones where you have like Vex legs and shit. I was thinking kind of like how it was in Wrath of the Machine. I don't remember Wrath of the Machines, to be honest, other than it turning them more Sieva-fied.
Which would still be cool.
Yeah. Crota's End is the one that I remember the most, because obviously it basically gave you a glowing set of horns and shit all over your armor.
That Crota set for me was the coolest armor set we've ever had in Destiny. I distinctly remember sitting watching the reveal stream for where they announced those armor ornaments and being like, I need that Crota set. like immediately.
I don't know. As much as it probably wasn't like as hard to obtain or anything, I will always have a fondness for the Taken set of armor.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember from Prison Elders? Was it Challenge Elders they put that in with? That was cool.
But here we go. We're going into PvP stuff. Shotguns are 120 RPM hand cannons, Dead Man's Tale. Combine these all dominate all forms of PvP, particularly trials. We've also been getting large amounts of feedback about special weapon usage in Crucible, and this will be a first step towards addressing these player concerns. Again, a little bit of a rant incoming, so be prepared. Okay, we can't forget about Sleeper Simulant in PvE too, because obviously when linear fusions, it does say it down here, wherever it is.
Further down.
There. When they gave linear fusions a buff at the beginning of season of the Splicer, they didn't give Sleeper Simulant its own buff, which it should have got. So that's what they're now addressing. But here's the intentions of special weapons need to, fill long range with aiming with skill, and not already under fire. Shotguns. I'm not going to read through all those, but that's basically what Bungie's outlining they are intended to do and how they want to balance the weapons to potentially be. So you want Trius rifles to be strong at close to mid ranges, blah blah. You know what I mean? That's what they're balancing is thinking about. Alright.
So I kind of like that change, like making special weapons situational for the situations that they're designed for, right?
I like that, but my little bit of a rant comes in when I fucking notice. 1 minute, let me notice where I read earlier. Where is it? Some there.
Oh,
aggressive.
God.
Increase the aggressive frame cone angle from 4.0 to 4.25 degrees.
Yeah, that I can't come off with.
Aggressive frames are Astral, Felwinters, those sort of shotguns, right? They're high damage, low rate of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So slightly increase the spread on it. If you
Yeah.
go through the next 2 points as well on top of that.
Yeah.
Damage so your damage fall off starts sooner, and it reaches its peak sooner.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's almost as if quick draw wasn't the problem with Felwinters, huh?
Yeah. Although
it's almost as if shot package is actually the problem.
Yeah. Although the fourth line, anyone who's fans of like Chappie or what were the other ones? The Spruce Walker one? Yeah, Philo. Any slug shotgun, then they're affected by the changes to damage fall off.
Yeah. I've got a ridiculous Reese Walker as well. I love it. I have not used Felwinters since I got it.
In Reese Walker, the Iron Banner one that's a lightweight.
The Iron Banner one, yeah. I've got an insane roll on mine. So
lightweights will be affected by this.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm going to miss it. But then I think the good thing is that it's going to, that overall change on special weapons is going to push you more into primary gunfights,
right?
Which is fine.
We get onto primaries, right? 120 hand cannons. They nerfed them a bit in the beginning of Season of Spicer. Obviously they're acknowledging all here. Didn't make a difference. Enough of a difference even. We believe there's still too rangy. Benefit way too much from a small damage buff. 2 tap in. Tricky business. Blah blah blah. A long story short, they're basically saying 120s if you have Rampage, 2 tap, right? And whilst I agree, a hand cannon that has the range that it's got, competing with snipers, shouldn't necessarily be 2 tapping. like a sniper does, because if you 2-tap to the body,
Yeah.
I think this is 2 taps to the head though.
Yeah. That's...
But for me, 2 taps to the head on a 120 takes more skill than 2 taps to the body with a fucking sniper rifle. Rampage, you have to kill somebody. You have to kill somebody to get it to proc. So, and it doesn't last long enough to where you can, because they have a pretty slow reload speed. It doesn't last long enough to where you can 2-tap. You can hit 3-tap somebody, kill them even, get rampage, then 2-tap the next person if you reload. You have to have hit, you know, half of your mag to actually do that. Like,
yeah. How like even like using mods like Rampage spec, like how much more time does that give you? Is it really beneficial to run that? I never run
like
those
2
guns.
seconds.
Is it? Yeah. So it's probably not giving you enough to make that viable, right?
But do I agree with the fact that they needed a range reduction right here? The minimum fat damage fall off? Yes. Should they be competing with snipers? No. Should scout rifles be competing with snipers? Yes.
Yes.
It should. I've always argued that if a sniper rifle is 2 shots to the body, 1 shot to the head to kill, a scout rifle should be 2 shots to the head and 3 shots to the body.
Yeah.
Overall, they should be competing at range, and the sniper rifle should just be essentially a scout rifle that awards you for hitting that 1 precision shot.
Yeah,
that's the way I've always looked at them. The aggressive hand cannons, you know, 120s should basically be what a scout in the example I just gave. They should be the scout rifle, what the scout rifle is to the sniper, but to the scout rifle. So you'd have snipers, then scouts, and then 120 hand cannons. And what you would then have after 120 hand cannons is like your higher RPM scouts. So if you've got like a scout rifle that's the lowest RPM, I can never remember what the RPM is for it. But something like Mida, for instance, is competing with a sniper rifle, but it takes like 1 extra bullet to each thing. And then 120 competes with a scout rifle, but then also takes 1 extra bullet on top of whatever the scout rifle takes. Then you would have the next, let's say, the scout rifle's 110, and then the next one below that is 130 RPM scout, is then competing with the 120 hand cannon. Then the 140 hand cannon is competing with the 130, and so it basically ends up like a stepping stone as you go down, and you individually slot weapons in until you get down to, you know, your 720, 900 RPM auto rifles and submachine guns, because then obviously they're putting out so much lead, they're not dealing a lot of damage. They should be at the bottom of the pile, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like if you've got those those weapons that tend to fall into the meta, like your high impact hand cannons and stuff like that. I kind of see what you're saying, like a layering of, you know, those real kind of higher skill type weapons with, you know, different damage archetypes of the sort of lower skill weapons, so that, you know, a kind of non-hunger type auto rifle can compete at range with a 140 hand cannon.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, where
exactly.
As someone who runs those kinds of auto rifles, I always feel like I lose every gunfight. Now that's largely because I couldn't hit like the side of a barn, but you know, I always feel like I lose those gunfights like 90% of the time. So like to make that a bit, you know, feel a bit fairer, I think PvP, you know, there is a bit of an argument against it. I suppose it's, you know, it causes skill gap and stuff like that as well. You know, I'm sure if there were kind of high-end PvP players in here, they would say,
I mean,
shut up, Scott, you don't know what you're talking about. But
I mean, as somebody who plays Apex, right, and has watched top-tier Apex players run circles around noobs, essentially, in pubs of Apex. Like, Kotagami, who I mentioned earlier, I have seen him play a character in Apex, which anybody who plays Apex will know. Octane. He uses a stim to makes him run a little bit faster. I've literally seen Cody stim and run circles around people as he's killing them. And the skill gap there isn't, oh, well, this weapon's more OP than this weapon, even though there are certain weapons like the Spitfire that everybody goes, oh, you use a Spitfire, you're shit. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just so easy to get kills with. There are those weapons there, but at the same time, the skill gap in Apex comes from movement, positioning, having a plan to get into a fight and get out if you need to. It's the same in Destiny. Some of the top players that I've watched play in like trials and shit, some of the people they're playing against are on equal skill level in the way of they can aim. And they're using the same weapons, right? They're all using like 120 hand cannons and DMT and whatever. Like, what's the current meta? They're using it, right? The way that somebody like, I don't know, Grenadier Jake beats out somebody like Lysis, who I've watched when he used to get the pronouns right, when they used to stream. I watched Lysis and how they position themselves compared to someone like Grenadier Jake. Grenadier Jake positions himself more, okay, I play a lot of trials and play a lot of like pubs in Destiny, so I know where people are likely to go. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Lysis used to position themselves more in a, okay, I've played scrims, and so I know where people are likely to go from scrims. And so there's not much difference, but there are slight differences in where they position themselves and how people play and stuff. There's
like,
not much difference there, but how they move and stuff makes one player slightly better than the other. Aim-wise, I would say they're probably on a similar sort of skill level. They're using the weapons of the meta as well, so it's not like, one's got an advantage over the other if they came up against each other because of the weapon they're using. It's just positioning.
I always marvel at those real high-end players though, and how they because my brain doesn't work that way, right? Like, I always say, like,
that's my point.
These aren't the kind of games that I grew up playing, right? My first console was an NES. First games I played were platform games. I'm old, right? I don't have reflexes and stuff like that you youngins will have. Like, I watch my son play Valorant. I talk about him on stream all the time. My son is an outstanding FPS player. Like, I watch him play Valorant, I watch him play Overwatch. He's high ranked in all of those games. He's like Platinum, Diamond, Master, whatever you want to call it. He thinks about movement in a way that I can't comprehend. Like, in an FPS game, and those thought processes happen so fast. Like, I genuinely can't keep up with him. Like, I'll watch him and I'll ask him to commentate on what he's doing and why. It doesn't make him any less of efficient a killing machine. He is still absolutely shredding kids.
I started on PS1, and one of the first games I ever played was Tomb Raider. And then, a couple years passed, I played games like Spyro and Ridge Racer back on the original PlayStation. A Need for Speed and that on PS2. And then the original Xbox came out, and I had Conflict, Desert Storm, Conflict Denied Ops.
Nice.
I had Halo. Then when 360 came out, I had Operation Flashpoint, Dragon Rising. I had Call of Duties, and one of the things that, like, I used to watch my dad play the Call of Duty games, right? And then once he was finished with a particular Call of Duty game, I would then go, all right, I've seen Dad do it, I can do it. And so I'd play through them as well. There was one time where I actually ended up getting ahead of him in Call of Duty 3. And that right there was where I was like, okay, I am now better at these, shooting games than my dad is. And my dad's been playing.
My son was about
dad's been playing
4
it for years.
when he first experienced it.
But my point being, I've grown up with those games, and so
Yeah.
one thing. So like going back to Call of Duty, right? I was boots on the ground, boots on the ground, boots on the ground, boots on the ground. I didn't very much like what most people consider to be the best competitive Call of Duty, which was Black Ops 2. But the one after it, Call of Duty Ghosts, I very much did like. And then the one after it, they did the advanced movement with Advanced Warfare. Well, guess what? I came from Halo, and Halo Reach was one of my favorite Halos, where we had jump packs, jet packs. You can, and then obviously Titanfall was also came out not long after. You can guess what happened when it came to me playing the advanced movement Call of Duties. I all of a sudden became. I took what I was good at in the boots on the ground Call of Duty Ghosts, and I took what I was good at in Halo and the movement on other games, combined them, and turned into a fucking god. Like
I aspire to that level of ability. I can't even.
I had people like my cousin who were, and my friend Pash, who, if you watch me play Apex with them at any point, you will see they are a lot better shooters than I am. Like, they've got a better aim than I have. They're also younger than me, but so they.
Me and we were having a bit of a lull with Destiny about maybe 5 or 6 months ago, and me and Sten had decided we were going to play some Apex, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Downbeat, or it might have been Chaps had been playing with us, and then they went off. So I got my son in, and he carried us to 3 wins on the bounce. And one of those was, I think, a 19 kill game, which included 2 team wipes in the last circle for him. I think Sten died early and I had 2 kills in that game. Scott had 19 kills and wiped 2 teams in the last circle. I cannot do that. He is really good.
Honest.
He is really good at Apex,
But,
and he plays Apex and Warzone just like messing about.
One thing, what I was
like
going to
if
say,
he just wants an easy time.
What I was going to say with the Call of Duties was, they would always finish better than me, but I was better at those Call of Duties after, like Call of Duty Ghosts and afterwards, than I ever was at like Modern Warfare 2 and young Trep got nukes on Modern Warfare 2, so I wasn't exactly bad at it.
Yeah, I was.
I was as well.
But
I can't.
Although I did play through the campaign on Black Ops 2. Yeah.
We're running quite a bit
I was
over
young and
now,
still bad at the game. Yes, we are. Fortunately, there's from my quick cursory glance, at least anyway, the rest of it is mostly patch notes.
Yeah, so this is all patch notes. If you want to go and read them, that's what I would say. Go and read them. I do like that they're looking at certain perks, like drop mag.
Yeah. I'm interested in what they do with that.
I've never understood why anybody would want drop mag, to be honest.
Yeah. Especially when the alternatives are usually so much better in terms of the mag perks.
Yeah. I do want to cover this real quick. Hipfire, Dead Man's Tale is dominant on mouse and keyboard, and we receives frequent critical feedback from players in Crucible. It is strong, but not worryingly so on controller. Alright? I'm not going to read all of that, but the point is I want to make is remove hip fire damage, fall off scaler, and aim assist cone angle hip scaler reduced from 1.5 to 1.2. I've seen a lot of PvP players screenshot this and go, this ain't gonna touch Dead Man's Tale enough.
Good, because I love Dead Man's Tale. It's the only thing that lets me stay positive consistently in PvP at the moment.
This is the thing. I made the argument before when we were discussing how they've acknowledged that it needed a tweak, and then obviously now they're doing this tweak, right? I made the acknowledgement that when they acknowledged that it needed a tweak, they should have just disabled it. They should have said, right, we are disabling it until the tweak is pushed out. Once the tweak is done, then we'll re-enable it. We'll get your feedback, and then if it needs retweaking, we will retweak it. Because obviously they can then turn around and go, oh well, the aim assist cone angle scaler whatever, going from 1.5 to 1.2 wasn't enough. We'll put it down to 0.8 or something. You know what I mean? They can make more changes to it and not have to disable it. But if there is something bigger that they need to, you know, disable it to check, like, I don't know, remove, to stop it from having 120 levels of damage at 150 RPM. John. Then they
I mean, I can definitely see the need to give it a touch, because, like, I've kind of jokingly said this to Project the other day. If I can turn in a 4.0 KD game using DMT in the hands of a good player, that weapon is a problem. I mean, so yeah, it needs a touch. It definitely needs a touch.
My argument with any sort of crotch like that has always, and I had the same argument about Stasis when it was running rampant and people were complaining about it, is if you look at it as a weapon, or in Stasis's case, a subclass that is designed to reduce the skill gap, and you consider yourself a good player, why the fuck are you using it?
Aye.
Let the fucking, and I apologize for anybody who takes offense, but let the scrubs use it. Anybody who's, you know, below positive average KD, let them use it.
Thanks. I appreciate the vote there. I'm in this tweet, so
if you are somebody that can use, you know, Astral Horizon Igneous Hammer and get a 5.0 fucking KD, why are you using Dead Man's Tale? It makes zero sense. You are basically going, haha. To me, anyway, whenever I see somebody using Dead Man's Tale, I look at it as, okay, I'm not good enough to actually aim. I'm just going to use this OP as shit catalyst that basically aims for me.
Absolutely. That is exactly how I use that gun. Thank you.
But that's the way I look at it when I see it in Crucible. I'm just like, oh, well, this guy's not very good.
Yep.
And then you look them up on, like, Destiny Tracker or whatever, and they've got, like, a 2.0 average KD for the season. It's like, I've got, like, a 1.2. I've got an overall of 0.8. You've got an overall of, like, 1.5. And you've got a 2.4 for the season. I wonder why you've got a 2.4 for the season. Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're crutching on a weapon that aims for you.
Yep.
And you're already a good player. Do you know what I mean? But someone who maybe needs that help, like, I'm going to sound kind of harsh when I say this, but you basically said it yourself. Like, you,
like me, absolutely. Let me have it. Let me compete.
Yeah, why should you not be able to compete? This isn't a competitive shooter. It's an arcade shooter.
Yeah. So,
and
like,
the sooner people realize that, the better.
I kind of liken DMT to, like, you know, when you go and play golf, right? And you might be like a really bad golfer, but like every so often you'll hit a really good shot, and that sort of makes you want to go and play golf again. Like you'll just like get a hold of a drive and you'll scud it like 300 yards dead straight down the middle, and you'll go, right, I want to go and play golf again. DMT is the gun version of that for me.
It's like
DMT is the gun version of that for me. Yeah.
You go on holiday, you go to Crazy Golf Course, you play, you know, 18 holes for argument's sake.
And then you think of Tiger Woods.
Yeah, 16 of them, you're hitting them on par. You maybe get a bogey or something like that, and then 17th hole, you get a hole in one, and then a lot of them have those little score things as the 18th hole, right? That if you get it in the middle, you get a free ball, and therefore you can go around the course again. You think, like you said, you think you're Tiger Woods. You think,
as I say, like DMT is the gun version of that for me. Because it makes me able to compete. It makes me like feel like I can hang in a game of PvP. It makes me feel like I'm not getting my teeth punched in every time I walk around a corner. You know, it makes PvP more enjoyable for a player like me, especially since they removed skill-based matchmaking, and I occasionally have to play against good players now.
I again disagree with that. I honestly disagree with that. I believe in, and this is obviously I've come from Call of Duty, as I said, and Halo. Right, so Call of Duty, Halo, I play against players of my skill level until I start dominating them. Once I start dominating them, my stats go up, and therefore my elo goes up, and therefore I'm playing players that are better than the previous skill level, right? Because they are
When
now
it's done right.
they are they are now the players that are on my skill level, because I've got better than the previous skill level, and so on and so forth, and I slowly climb and become the best player I can be. Right now, I go into a game and I get Billy Joe, who's a 0.2, because they've barely touched shooters in their life. And then on the enemy team they get fucking Grenadier Jake, who drops a fucking 50 bomb on me. Like, I'm sorry, that does not make sense. Why should... And I know why they've done it, because skilled players were going, oh, well, I don't want to have to sweat every game.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of playing PvP, is to get better at PvP. The whole mantra that I sort of live by when it comes to PvP is one that is literally voiced in Apex and Titanfall, and that's the Apex Predators in Titanfall universe. Cuban Blisk even is the leader of it, and his famous line in the Titanfall universe and at the beginning of Apex, like cinematic, is, I kill you, I'm better. You kill me, you're better. That's the way I always look at PvP.
Yeah, I think like, as a casual PvP player and someone who's not great at PvP, what I personally would like in the game is something skill based that is casual, and something that's not necessarily skill based that is a bit more competitive for the sweaty players. So if you want to
I kind of agree with what Punk said, and it kind of directed towards me in a sense, I feel like, because I obviously said I don't look at DMT and go, oh, I'm gonna play this because it will let me win. I look at it as that's a crutch, and I'm not gonna use it. I'm only gonna use it if somebody uses it against me. And he said unpopular opinion, but if a weapon makes you better.
Cyberus uses the most toxic PvP loadouts you'll ever hear of, and it is like just the most annoying things to play against. Cyberus is that guy.
Yeah,
he
I
said,
suppose it's
if a weapon
a
makes you
difference in
better,
approach as well.
and you choose not to use it, whatever skill level you are, you really don't want to win. Sorry.
He's the guy that was running like the stasis slide on the Titan, with the legs that give you the shield, and Phil Winters with slide shot on.
Yeah,
that was
I'm those people you find in Crucible who will sometimes do pretty well and have a blind of a round, and sometimes will do really shit, and it's like it's sort of down to the fact that when I play Crucible, I just go and shoot shit. I will most of the time just go in with whatever I'm wearing at the time. Won't coordinate anything. We'll just go. If I kill them, great. If I don't, well.
So just because we're low, like we've gone over by like nearly 40 minutes.
Yeah, we have.
I'm gonna quickly just address what Cyberius said, and then do a quick thing on what I've got up on screen, and then we'll scroll quickly through the rest of the TWAB, and then we'll get onto raiding someone. But the thing about you really don't want to win, to me, winning isn't it. In Destiny, there is no win-loss ratio. Call of Duty, I would do whatever it took to win. I was the person in Hardpoint on Call of Duty. or domination who was capturing the hard point or capturing the flags. I didn't care about my KD. I cared about win-loss. To the point where the clan I used to run, whereas most clans were like, oh, must have a 1.0 KD, we was like, must have a 1.0, at least a 0.8 win-loss. And some of the people that joined us, they had like 0.5s. And yeah, within a month of doing clan wars with the clan, they would have a 1.5. Because we'd win every game. Because we didn't care about our KDs, we cared about the win. Destiny isn't one of those. Destiny for me is I want to get better at the gunplay, and therefore I'm not going to use something that allows me an easy win. I'm going to use something that makes me become a better player. That personally is why I enjoy the 120 hand cannon meta, because they're slow firing. They rely a lot on, you know, hitting your shots. It's not a 600 RPM like Northern Hunger. Look down a lane, hose them down. Do you know what I mean? Not full auto. Then the thing I wanted to address that I've got on screen is Anarchy's getting nerfed, apparently, or they're at least looking at Anarchy, because it's done too well with too many things throughout the years.
Yeah.
And then they're saying, you know, player feedback saying that machine guns aren't doing their job well enough. There is one machine gun that does its job well enough, and that's Xenophage. You can use it through the entirety of VOG, and you do not need to change off of it. So why Anarchy's getting touched, but Xeno isn't? Not it, Chief. Exotic primaries, I do want to see more reason to use something like Outbreak Prime or No Time to Explain, or, you know, Sturm or Ace of Spades over an exotic heavy or secondary. I've wanted that for a while, so we needed that. Then obviously they're looking at future plans, patch notes review, just fixing things. Then pre-patch, obviously we've got maintenance on the 6th, which is going to be bringing in the new returning Dreaming City and Moon weapons back. They're changing how the Bungie store works. And Sources of Heroes will start on that Tuesday as well. Then we've got Movie of the Week, which both look pretty decent, so I'm sure somebody will go and give them a watch. Then Artists of the Week, and then, you know, them just talking about the fact that it felt warm in the Pacific Northwest, so it's been more like Mercury than Earth, which is kind of funny considering Mercury's not a planet in Destiny anymore. Sweating harder than I normally do in PvP. But yeah, a bunch of other things to just close out the TWAB, basically. I do like that they have, you know, mentioned PvP and sort of talking about how they're going to try and make changes to fix it. But I don't know.
Round out the TWAB. I think I'm gonna do the usual spiel to round up this, where you figure out who we're gonna go to. What was it? All right, yeah. Scott, thanks for coming on.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me.
It's been fun.
Yes.
Sorry for my drastic drop in energy throughout the course of the.
You've got an excuse. You've been working today.
Yeah, but I was working last week as well, and it didn't seem to happen then. So I just need to figure out what happened today and fix it for next week. A quick update for anyone who has been waiting on platforms. This weekend, for definite, will be the update.
Hey.
And I'm about 60% sure that by Sunday we'll have them on Apple as well.
Oh,
nice.
So I've got some of the foundation laid for that. I just need them to get the account set up. They said that'll take about a day, so I'll check on that on the way home tomorrow. Make sure that's all set up.
Hey.
So, as I said, thanks for coming on. It's been fun.
It has been.
If we were to ask you to come on again, would you be up for that?
For sure.
Is there anyone you want to be on with, or you want to see on a future episode?
Well, you've sort of had Chaps and Project and me. You might as well get everybody else from our community that streams. So, I guess Downbeat, who's been in chat tonight,
He's on the list.
He's on the list. Good. It's not the only list that he's on, I can assure you. And Sten. Yeah, you might want to get Sten on as well. Be good to see him on here.
Cool.
I think he was on the list. Maybe not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
well, if he isn't, he will be after today.
Yeah.
Excellent. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I'd definitely be up for coming on again. It was a most enjoyable time. Okay,
so again, I echo what Kit said. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
No worries.
And yeah, it has been a fun one. Nearly 3 hours. But I already know where we're going with regards to the raid, so we'll do that in a second. But where can people find you on Twitch and Twitter and anywhere else that you?
I am ScottThaDude, that with an A everywhere. On Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, although I haven't really done much with those yet. And yeah, I stream Tuesday nights, UK time, and weekend mornings. Tuesday night streams usually start about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Weekend mornings usually start like 9:30, 10. Go a little bit lunchtime. It's always fun. Usually just kind of PvE, nonsense, raids, all that kind of thing. And as I say, we like to have a laugh over on my channel. So it's usually a lot of lewd and adult humour. And sometimes you might even get to see me build a computer.
Anybody who is on YouTube watching it, the link to Scott's Twitch will be in the description anyway. So if you want to go and follow him over there, I'm sure you have like links and that set up in your chat, don't you? So if you want to follow you on Twitter and stuff, they can always pop into your chat and
can indeed come and say hi. Everybody, all welcome.
Okay, so for the benefit of the YouTube video and the podcast platforms, that's going to do it for us today. We are coming to, so we're at the end of episode 26. We've obviously already thanked Scott for being on. Thanks again, Kit, as usual, for being, the co-host. And we hope you've enjoyed this particular episode and any other episodes you might watch or listen to. And if you haven't already, be sure to check those out. I am going to put a command at some point in my chat that links to the playlist on YouTube, so people can easily, get all of them together and watch. So, but until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of Rising Lights, which will be next Thursday. Unless we need to change it for some reason, and then in that case, keep an eye on my Twitter, which is @IntrepidSwan. But
where are we going?
there's the end of the